Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Captain, urgent news from the General.
Why not really blow it up, Captain?
Captain Claw, embarking into hostile environment. I'm giving her all she's got, Captain.
Captain.
No, Captain. They're alive.
Welcome everyone, and we are back with yet another Summer of Legends host. This one will be the decider for which of these players makes it to the bracket between Captain Crockpot and DoubleCrunch. Actually teammates on Average Joe, so we got a bit of a friendly rivalry here with this one. With me today I've got Plaza again. How you doing, man?
Yeah. Now we wait.
Good. Thanks for having me back. Excited. Should have some good games on our hands.
Yeah, this is a bit of a continuation from the last time we saw Captain Crockpot and Mitosis face off. Mitosis getting that one and making it to bracket, so Crockpot in his last life, but so is DoubleCrunch, so we shall see which of these players makes it through. I will let the players
starting
know.
off a pretty even matchup here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this one is a really fun one. I've played it in Team League, actually. And it is a very, very even matchup. I was looking on League, and it's got just shy of 100 plays, and it's like almost a 50-50 win rate. I think it's a 2% in one of the fighters' favor, but that's basically just rounding for error at that point. So really fun matchup, and one that has a lot of like little interactions from each side that kind of can swing it one way or the other.
Right. You are the thing.
Yeah, exactly. I guess, how do you evaluate the map here? Who do you think that really plays into the favor of?
So, T-Rex Paddock, pretty nice for fighters who don't want to have to move too far. I don't think it's the best one on offer. It's not quite as good as like Raptor Paddock, for instance. But the two center spots, so the gray-green and the green-yellow kind of in the middle of the map there by the Jeep, those are the two spots that are move 4, I believe, from everywhere. So that might be where you see Bat tend towards, because that'll let him alpine and be able to reach no matter where Tesla sits. But the center spots are also pretty good for catching the edges of the map on the right side there where Bat started. So I do think that Bat will get a bit of an edge here, personally. I played it on Raptor Paddock when I played it, and that one was quite nice because it allowed Bat to do similar things while also potentially retreating to pockets when necessary. So this map has some of those same elements. We'll see whether it ends up being as good for Bat as Raptor Paddock was, but Tesla has some shenanigans with stuff like remote control and whatnot, even if Bat tries to hide in some pockets, so be interesting to see.
Yeah, and Bat getting to go second here, so putting the initiative on Tesla right away. Although it doesn't look like he's going to be attacking unless he's planning to boost here. Maybe remote control.
Yeah, it is a bit rough here for Tesla, having to lose a card, but just a lightning storm. It's not one that you're too upset about. 2 coils. One thing that you always have to think about as Tesla is how you spend your coils offensively versus defensively. Against a character like Bat, if he's coming in with his ability, you ideally want to have 2 coils available, because that will let you polyphase to completely cancel and ignore his value, which will mean that his buff doesn't help him out. Or something like X-ray radiation, which can let you boost if you really need to against like a 7 or something, depending on what you reveal off his deck. You're almost always going to discard with that, even if it's not a great card, just to help with exhaustion purposes and stuff, especially against someone like Bat, who can be somewhat of a menace in that regard otherwise. But just having those big defenses does require 2 coils, so it means that if you go too hard on offense, you might run into issues on your opponent's turn.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this one is pretty interesting here. So Bat is going to get the skirmish effect. However, he can't really go in adjacency like he wanted to. Well, he could, but Tesla is going to get an action if he wants and still have 2 coils on his turn, so he'd be able to maneuver and back off so Bat couldn't get a free attack from starting next to Tesla.
Yeah, this will let Tesla, though, maneuver without overdrawing outside of Alpine range.
Yes, that is big. He'll want to make sure he's at least 5 away, which he is here now. Alpine will not reach, which would actually be pretty solid because only card in discard right now is Skirmish, and that's a card that you'll often see Alpine recur. One of the better blocks in the deck, and also quite potent on offense if you have your ability online as Bat.
Yeah, I think one of the big things this game, like you mentioned, is going to be the coil management. Like, with only 1 coil active, Tesla can't block for any more than 4, and only has 3 copies of that 4. So that can do a lot of damage if he's hitting with ability there. So the ability to keep 2 coils up and always threaten to fully negate the value of Bat's attacks is going to be, I think, paramount here.
Yep.
Which I guess we just see Bat content throwing away a card to keep the initiative on Tesla and force him to keep coming in.
Ooh, okay. So I was going to say, we don't see Bat go in with like an Arrive, but that's fine because he had something like Punch just to get rid of a pretty mediocre card. Especially in this matchup, it's not like one that you're ideally attacking with. You just want to hit Tesla really hard. Tesla, though, having the remote control to yank Bat back into his zone, and now could potentially double attack. One of the issues that Bat has at times is that he has some really strong defenses, but he doesn't have a large quantity of them. And so the rest of his defenses are just kind of eh. And so Tesla can hopefully take advantage of this. But Bat also does have Flash to get away. He's going to block big, and it doesn't get punished here too badly. 7 Hertz going to potentially gain an action here. Did force a big block out of Bat. That's 2 of the big value blocks gone already. Only 2 skirmishes and 2 laps in the deck. He was probably hoping that Tesla was going in for a Death Ray there or something similar. I could see going for the Death Ray because you think Bat wants to get away with Flash, so you get 5 damage over Flash. That would be a huge interaction for Tesla there.
We've got 2 actions left.
But you still do get the 5 out of the way. However, that is 2 7 Hertz gone, so Tesla not having as much combo potential. Which is one way that you can put a lot of pressure on Bat, is you can catch him with not great defenses and just try to attack him a bunch in the same turn before he can draw into more.
No. It will.
Yep. No, unless he boosts, he will be in Alpine, or he can continue to attack.
Yeah, I mean,
Which
if he gained the action there, you'd be able to attack 2 more times. Now, it does potentially put him low on cards, but I mean, Bat's either taking damage or blocking, so it's going to even out. And if he has an intense experimentation on defense, he could potentially do well there. Oh my. Alright, well this is good for Bat.
Massive defense to start.
X-ray radiation going for it on offense is not something that I would expect too often in this matchup, but I respect going for it. Unfortunately, it's a 1 value, so there's no benefit in boosting it up. Bat's boost values, for the most part, are not super strong. So you're probably not, unless you get lucky with something like a Laugh at Your Feebleness or a Alpine, you're not probably going to be getting too much value there from the extra boost. But ditching the card is always nice. You would have preferred to get a better card than Roar, but Roar can be scary at times, depending on positioning and if you try to attack Bat and then maneuver away, but he's like, actually, I'm roaring you and we're adjacent, so now you're going to take a huge hit.
So let's do 1.
Alright, so we see the cancel go into the I-beams, only going to spend 1 here. I think that makes sense. Ditching a coil. And Bat already maneuvered.
Yeah,
so
Bat maneuvered, so only 2 value. And when he attacks you on a turn he's maneuvered, you're usually expecting I-beams, so I like the cancel there. You'd only have to spend 1 coil. I think even if he did have his ability, you'd only be spending 1 there because you're fine taking the 1 damage and not losing the extra coil. The downside, of course, is that that's one of your polyphases gone into an attack that wasn't a big attack. So, and you used an X-ray on offense, so you're running through. You're basically a third of the way through your best blocks, but as long as you can position right, you can hopefully make those last for the remainder of the big hits that Battle swing with.
Yeah, on the other side, we see Bat having played the skirmish and both of the 5s, so
yeah, he's
a lot of his
also running both fighters, like, and actually Bat's probably in a worse spot in terms of that. Tesla still has at least 2 copies of the other 2, so Bat a little bit more worried, but
yeah, Bat is never truly out of the cards until Alpine comes
okay.
Be
Flash is a 4.
Yep.
So I take 1 damage.
Because he started in the gray and now is in the dark blue.
More things, and you're gonna be able to move up to 5 spaces.
And then he gets to get out of there.
So let's draw.
Tesla draws 1, and then we'll decide whether he wants to spend any more coils. I would guess he's probably not going to here. I could maybe see 1, but yeah, he's just not going to draw any extra. Bat gets to move.
Alright, ready?
Tesla could double maneuver here. Bat could double maneuver, and the initiative would be back on Tesla. So Tesla is going to be the one having to do something first, most likely. Doesn't have to do it this turn necessarily, though.
Yeah, with full coil. Like
He's going for it, though. Yeah, he wants to get the value out of the coils, which I definitely understand. And also, Bat's used a lot of his good defenses, so if you have some solid attacks, I can see going for it for sure. You don't have to worry about skirmish here if you're attacking with something like a Death Ray. And if he blocks with Flash into Death Ray, you're pretty happy.
I'll attack with this.
And yeah, Bat has Alpine, but at the same time, you can only recur so many cards. I mean, typically you see Alpine cycled mid-game in order to put yourself in a good spot for exhaustion and keep getting your ability. And so you typically get like a good card at the beginning and then cycle a few times. So at least 2 of those 3 good defenses would probably sit there for a good chunk of the game.
Yeah. We do see the
There's
skirmish
another one.
here.
And then I'll spend...
As long as he spends at least 1, he stops the skirmish effect. The question is
Which
whether he
he's always
goes
going to
2 or
spend at
not.
least 1.
Yeah, he's always
Yeah.
going to spend 1. Question is whether he goes for the extra damage. I mean, 3 damage is nice. Bat has no healing, so any damage you deal to him is permanent. He's got a lot of health,
Definitely
but
spending 1 at least.
you'll chip away eventually. It really depends on whether you want to risk him having like an Alpine into
Yeah,
a
damage,
big hit.
damage, I'll take it.
Does go for the damage though. You'd prefer to get that into a smaller block, of course, but can't complain too much getting big hit over 4.
Yeah, I mean, 3 damage is 3 damage, and Alpine's way to only punish there, because even if he arrives, then he goes down to 2 cards with the scheme and the attack, and you can kind of pressure, but...
Yeah, that was the best case scenario for Bat, because that was his biggest block, so at the very least he got a favorable interaction. We see him going in once again without ability. Could be another I-beams, could be a punch just to get some auto damage.
Show me the 1, show me the 1.
Though if he punches here...
Ooh, okay.
Ooh,
Wow.
okay, goes for the 5. This is something that a lot of times Bat won't want to go for the 5 because it could be a 7, but a lot of times it can be right to do it on turns where you don't have ability because your opponent's like, yeah, he's not going to throw the 5, right? Because he wants to get max value. But, especially against Tesla, it can be hard to catch him with only 1 coil and ability online. So... he's likely to block low with stuff like Repulsion Blast when you're in your when your ability's not online. So getting 3 damage over it is real solid.
You're on timeout.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an unorthodox
Maybe this is what they
play,
want.
but I like it. I mean, if you're kind of hamstrung with what you're drawing and you're not seeing your schemes and you can't get your ability,
Alright, my
I
turn.
mean, it's a way to get some damage through unexpectedly.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do as Bat is hit someone with the 5 over a feint because they were expecting I-beams on a turn I didn't have ability. That feels like the best.
Yeah, because I mean, typically, if you're not attacking with ability as Bat, they assume you're just trying to get off some sort of effect. Your values are pretty low, so.
Yep.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Back
2
down.
damage
good
over
counter
flash.
Yeah.
I'll spend it to gain the action.
Bat fearlessly running up to Tesla here. Only 2 cards in hand for Tesla at the moment. He doesn't have any like on-demand card draw really on offense. It's on defense that he's got his big card draw effect. That being said, Bat has basically next to no card draw. Alpine theoretically does a bit, but you know, if you didn't have Alpine, if it was a different card like a combat card, a maneuver would get you the same place. It's the value of Alpine is more in the keeping your ability online rather than the card draw. But the fact that the reshuffle happens before you draw does mean that whatever you get back from discard could be drawn, which means that a card that you didn't have an option to draw prior is one that can be drawn after the Alpine effect. The fact that you get a move after the draw is really good. Okay, so we see no
Just charge up.
no recursion here for Inside of the Ancients. Very unlikely to trigger on defense most of the time. You can much more reliably get it on offense, but not going to happen here. Bat just seems to have not been able to find any of the Alpines, which is always rough. Bat's a very different beast when he has Alpines versus when he doesn't. Tesla definitely having the advantage at the moment.
Although, at least with all of the action games gone, I guess Tesla's played 5 of his 8 reds.
Yeah.
That's somewhat weathered the storm. I mean, he's spent a lot of his high-value defenses doing it, but he hasn't taken any massive hits. It's just kind of been 2 or 3 damage here, 2 or 3 damage there.
Pass it over to Tesla.
Okay. I will maneuver.
Bat does still have both of his cancels, so if you could line those up into death rays that are trying to be 7s, that could be pretty nice for him. Also canceling Polyphase if Tesla tries to attack with that would be really good. And that's particularly punishing because it means Tesla can't block with it to ignore the big hits from Bat as well. Okay, we got the second remote control here. Tesla playing a very dangerous game.
Down to 1, but there's 1 flash left.
Okay. Doesn't get the healing, but does get 2 damage over the cancel. Bat down to single digits.
Yeah,
now.
great.
Oh yeah, Alpine would be real nasty for Tesla. He does have 2 coils, so he probably has a good defense card. And Bat can't double attack here. He's still going to go for it. I like going for it, especially if he's representing a good defense card. It means that you're going to get either some damage through or a good card out of Tesla. It could also be intense experimentation, and based on how DoubleCrunch has been playing, Crockpot's just hoping that he doesn't have the Alpine and continues to not have it, and he can draw here. Okay, no, wow, that was a super risky play if the Alpine was in play. Holy cow.
I can't believe it worked.
And yeah, attacked with an insight without ability and actually got it to work. Good thing for Tesla here is he's not taking much damage, but to be fair, he wasn't probably taking much either way. Could go for a discard, however it will happen after, or before the insight rather. So, it's funny because whatever he ditches with repulsion, if he decides to do that, could be recurred with insight.
Yeah. I would expect that he's gonna discharge both foils here. Looks like maybe not, but I feel like getting another card out of that stack. I mean, we're halfway through the game and we haven't seen a single scheme yet, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
What do I do with? How do I do it with this duplicated thing? Coil wise, you're not using extra coils.
I'm not doing anything now. I'm just.
I feel like random discard is usually good. as I learned in my last match.
What's
but-
more important, random discard or
They start
dealing
playing.
with the damage? I'm gonna deal you the damage next at the start, so I'm gonna leave you there with your cards.
Gotcha. Okay, so no random discard.
No.
Okay, do you want to shuffle this up a bit too, so you know?
Oh yeah. We'll give it a nice shuffle here, right there.
All right. What do we got for the recursion? That's a good one.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
We like to see
That's
that.
really good.
Yeah,
that's
that
good to
is.
see right there for you.
Now, he has mostly good stuff in his deck right now. I mean, I feel like the only things you really would be upset about are probably
Alright,
the
I'm gonna-
punch and the roar.
my turn, I'm
Maybe the flash of light, but between the skirmishes, the fives,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, it doesn't
super
have
strength, and
any-
the cancel.
Doesn't have any sight beyond sight, so
Maneuver.
when
Exactly.
when you can avoid getting those back with with insight, that's always great.
And I'm going to maneuver again.
But yeah, he had a lot of good hits. Not getting back one of the defenses could be a little bit scary, but vaporizing eye beams could also just hit the stuff that you don't want Tesla to use on you. So can't complain too much about that.
Have at thee.
We can talk about moving out of eye beams, but looks like
All right,
we'll
we got a
see
scheme
an arrive.
arrive, which was the only way to reach here, other than like a big boost, but it would be like a boost with Alpine, which, or no, I guess it'd only be a 2 boost because he's 3 move. But yeah, arrive lets him get a big attack off, and unless he drew
It's
one of the
not,
good
I would be
defenses.
absolutely shocked. Luckily and thankfully we have.
Oh,
All
which he
right, did
did.
draw the polyphase. However, this is probably a good ultimately a good interaction for Bat because
I will use.
he's either gonna do one or force both coils to be used. And either way, it's not like a huge attack that's getting canceled here. That being said, it would have been really nice to get both of Tesla's cards with the eye beams discard.
Is that coil worth 1 damage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like both coils being used. It's
Guess Bat
thinking
doesn't
probably
have too
every
many like huge attacks left,
Okay.
so
I'm going to.
ultimately that probably is better for Tesla there, getting lucky with the top deck. But he's not going to be able to get out of Alpine range here unless he boosts. But again, feels like Bat still doesn't have any Alpines.
And I will maneuver.
It's being played at a very low hand count for most of the game.
Yeah. Those are always the most exciting.
Yeah, which can put Bat, I feel like, especially in a tough spot.
Yeah.
And your turn.
I'd say it's worked out so far for Tesla, although only one possible point on that with ability can continue to hit for a lot, but he does still have 2 X-rays and a poly phase.
Yeah.
Pick another attack with that ability here. Maybe an eye beams.
It would be good, yeah.
Maybe
Ooh. Well, it doesn't matter here
Oh,
for
I
the
can
the
actually.
coil winning because he already had 1 charged, but
Dice.
no damage there, but he is going to lose one of these 2 cards.
Got it.
Alright, what card would you want? You tell me.
I'm not gonna tell you what card I want. Because
X-ray or polyphase. Ooh, okay, that's pretty good.
I'll take a death ray.
Because that's some of
Take a death ray.
the only remaining damage for Tesla. He does still have lightning storms that he could get. So, actually, lightning storm is a lot. 2 lightning storms with both coils discharged is half of Bat's remaining health.
Mm-hmm.
And more so now because Tesla, because actually the fact that he gets the coil back from induction does mean that he gets his ability off at start of turn. So that's just chipping away more at Bat.
I'm gonna zap you actually there.
Tesla doesn't have any
I will
he has 1 healing theoretically with a fully
maneuver.
powered up intense experimentation, but he's out of both of the alternating currents.
Yeah, but in order to get that healing, you have to draw 3.
Yeah.
Which,
Which is not
That-
probably where you want to be.
Although if you think you can kill Bat before it gets to exhaustion, might not be.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
at this
fair.
point, I don't think you're beating him in exhaustion, so you might end up going for it, honestly. Especially if low hand counts continue to be what both players are at. Unfortunately, it's not like you can do as much with a big hand as you might be able to if you still had some of the 7 Hertz, but still. And we continue to go
Wow.
low. Oh, okay, went for the polyphase and does cancel it, so that's really good for Bat.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge.
It is now all of Bat's good defense is gone though.
Yes, this is true.
I guess Bat has 2 roars left, all of the sight beyond sights, and then 1
I will tell you, I drew
flash.
back
So
after, I
only 2 defenses above the 2 value.
Yeah, and we're also running into the spot where Bat is going to be drawing either bad defenses, red cards, or schemes, so he does have to be a bit worried about if Tesla does keep pressure up, taking undefended attacks, which would be devastating at this point.
Okay.
I feel like Tesla's probably not attacking this turn.
No, I would,
Unless
I would guess not. He boosts in and goes down to no cards. Probably not ideal. He has no way to draw on offense. So yeah, he would be going into 0 cards on Bat's turn, which is not ideal, I would say. Even if Bat doesn't have Alpine, a 5 in hand would just result in half of Tesla's HP disappearing.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if he ends with an Alpine range. Because to a degree, like, you can't just really back off at the edge of the map if you're Tesla here.
Man, I love the attack you here, but
I think ending with an Alpine range is quite risky, though, because Bat has drawn a decent amount.
You son of a gun. I want to come get you.
Yeah, so if he Alpines, he'll go up to 4 in hand. You're
Come get you. I
3.
really do. But I won't. Don't worry. And then I'll maneuver again. And
Tesla now only 2 of his strong defenses
I
left,
really wanted to smack
Yup.
and needs to spend both coils in order to bump that 4 up. But against anything but the 7 with ability,
There's
you're
Alpine.
probably not.
There's
Yeah, there you
Alpine.
There's the way back, and now it's
We
the
finally
third one.
found one.
That's awful.
Be interested to see what he takes back here.
Goes for the imposing.
just your imagination.
Which
It does
I guess
stop
makes
Lightning Storm and Death Ray, which are 2 significant sources of damage right now. I guess an offensive X-ray radiation as well if Tesla just thinks he has to go for it. Skirmish also, I think, would be a decent option because it's a good block and can also be used as a very potent offensive play.
Yep.
At the same time, though, I understand wanting the cancel because it does line up a bit better into what Tesla has remaining. It is purely a block card, so that could be where the downside comes in, but if you're going to think you have to be a little bit more on the defensive in the long term, because you're going to be winning in exhaustion, you just need to make sure you don't die, because Tesla's out is to kill you, it's not to exhaust you. It looks like he might not even be going in here,
He's still not coming.
which I think is reasonable, especially depending on what his blocks look like. Because this does force Tesla into a weird spot here.
Mhm.
Alright.
Okay, both remote controls gone for Tesla too.
Yep.
So Golden Map can position a little bit more comfortably there. Because on this map, like, remote control can get you basically anywhere
Yeah.
that Tesla wants you. So
Alright, boost with repulsion.
keeping up the aggression, going to be going into the next turn 2 cards.
Alright, if you have your feint,
Golden Bat's 4, assuming there's an attack here.
The question is, did he draw into the cancel? Because if he didn't, and you have a Death Ray here,
I'll attack that.
it could be very, very significant.
Because I guess another call out is Bat doesn't have any offensive cancel. So if you get him low enough, then Lightning Storm on defense just becomes lethal, and
Yes.
he can't attack you.
Exactly. And when you have this much health left as Tesla, you can afford to block with it, even against like a 7. Does not have the cancel. Alright, this is big. Okay, now I think Tesla's in a very commanding spot. As long as he has blocks and Bat doesn't have Alpine, I guess. But even if he does, he can only attack once. It's not like he can attack twice here. If Bat could get a double attack, that's where Tesla would run into problems. But unfortunately for Bat, there was not anywhere to position that would force adjacency. And Bat does just maneuver here. Yeah, I mean, Lightning Storm is now just lethal. You don't even need to have both fully charged. You could use one now, and then you could just get 2 coils and sit on it for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have the Lightning Storm, you
Taking.
probably play it here. Taking, okay.
If you think it's the I-beams, I guess it makes sense if you don't have I mean, you don't have any cancels left, so if you think it's I-beams, and you don't want to lose one of the cards, at least this gives you a 50-50 shot for only 2 damage. Oof. That's a rough one to lose. That one on offense would have potentially just closed out the game at this stage.
Yeah.
Would need another coil still, but something like, if his hand is like fully charged into a X-ray, that would be nasty.
I will maneuver.
I think at this point, from the Tesla side, you just need to find your lightning storms. Especially after losing that X-ray. Could put you in a bit of an awkward spot for blocks. I don't think you really need to attack Bat much more. I mean, you could. But I think you just need to find your things that can kill him.
Yeah. At least find one of them soon, that way. Because you can survive, yes, both attacks over 2 lightning storms, because the most he could hit you for is a 7 and then a 6. So that would deal you 7 damage if you blocked both with lightning. So you could survive.
Yeah.
And as Golden Bat, it feels like you almost have to just go for it. Because the longer you wait, the more likely he's going to be to have the lightning storm.
Well, I think at this point, from Bat's perspective, you might actually just want to make Tesla do the first move, because going in and attacking him, I feel, hurts you more than it helps you. I mean, especially if you get skirmish. Honestly, you get skirmish back here, and you just stay in a spot where he cannot. I mean, cancel's fine too. I do think I like skirmish a little bit more. But if you get skirmish, you can always push him out of the zone if he attacks you with lightning, as long as you position right.
Which I feel like he's probably just going to be hanging on to the lightnings for defense at this point, since Bat can't cancel offensively.
But because of what Bat's got left, I think he could theoretically
Where are you going, DoubleCrunch?
Where are we going?
be far enough ahead in exhaustion that Tesla still has to make the first move.
Actually,
I don't know, it's close, because Tesla's down a card, 2 once he maneuvers. Bat still has a pass and can recur another one with Alpine.
Mhm.
let's do this. A boost. I made a misplay there. Go back there.
So we see Bat clearly focusing on the exhaustion game plan here.
They'll get it.
They'll get it. I will. Maneuver.
You force Tesla to make the first move, and then at some point you can potentially hit him really hard. The problem now is, like, both Lightning Storm and X-ray radiation are problems if you attack him.
Boost with my fully charged. I was waiting for it the whole freaking time. Finally got it. I'm gonna go to there.
Bat really needs to have drawn one of the cancels right
Then
now.
I will attack.
If he doesn't have an imposing presence here, it's probably just over. Does have it.
He does.
It does still
Okay.
take one. So now a single lightning storm is lethal,
And your
which
turn.
is a
Yeah.
big problem.
Yes.
It's a big problem because he only has the one cancel now. And if he wants to get another answer, whether it be the cancel or the skirmish, he's going to need to recur it with Alpine, which means he can't recur the pass, which means Tesla might be able to catch up. Because at the moment, Bat, a single maneuver in exhaustion, and he's dead.
Yeah.
Boost with this bad boy. This awesome card. Yeah, let's overdo the Tesla man.
So I think as long as... It's going to be
I'm going
close. It's
to
going to be very close.
maneuver.
But I feel like Tesla has the advantage here as long as he positions properly.
And I will
Bat does have the two
maneuver.
passes. And theoretically, one of them can get him a 7 value hit. So if Tesla
Yeah.
takes a bit of exhaustion damage,
Your turn.
and then he gets in a spot where the 7 kills over Lightning Storm, that could be a way out. And if Bat does it like as he's running out of cards, like let's say he starts the turn with no cards in deck, then X-Ray doesn't get boosted even if Tesla has the double coils.
Which all the X-rays are gone at this point. Lightning's he only has
Oh
lightning.
yeah,
and kinetic
he
and-
attacked with the last X-Ray. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, so you just need Tesla to go down to 4. So you need him to take 2 instances of exhaustion damage, which seems like it's going to be pretty hard to get. Oh, You boost to the other side here. You force Tesla to boost. Then you have the cancel because he attacks with the lightning storm. And then
And I'll maneuver.
you arrive to the other side of the map. Okay, there's still a way out for that.
1, 2,
He needs to have the cancel.
boost with a fully charged. To go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you only need
Because
one of your
Tesla
lightning
doesn't have any boost values left. All of his boosts are low now. He doesn't have a death ray. He doesn't have any of the 3s.
Yeah, but if he's in the middle of the map, though, he only needs, I think, a boost of 1 to be able to hit every.
Yeah, but this next turn he
Yeah.
would have to take at least 2 exhaustion damage. Because Bat, if
Yeah.
he arrives to the other side of the map, so... It's going to be very close.
I'll attack.
Which you
Very-
just throw
very-
one of the lightning storms here if he doesn't have the cancel.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
did not...
And move up.
Did
if you
not.
wanted,
So
but
this would have this would have also let him survive against Lightning Storm. Fun fact. I didn't even think about that. He would have been down to 1, but he would have been fine.
Which the difference between 1 and 2 is pretty
I mean, I can't
marginal at
make
this
sure
point. I
that
guess if
it's
Tesla ever
possible.
ends with only 1 coil, but there's nothing really for him to spend his coils on at this
Yeah.
point, other than killing you
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Lightning Storm.
Alright, it's your turn.
Right? What a game.
I think not attacking with Lightning Storm there was maybe a mistake. I don't know. I feel like you force him to have it, but I guess because Flash was there that I wasn't thinking of, maybe that does change things a little bit. If you're gonna
Mhm.
Alpine,
I mean, you'll never
if
need-
you're gonna Alpine, you need to do it
Oh,
now. Yes, you need to do it now,
Right.
and that's the right call. Because if he does it next turn, he takes an exhaustion and dies.
Yep.
So he needs to do it now. He shuffles that back, then he draws, and now he has 2
Okay, so
arrives.
let's start
I mean, it
math
doesn't
now.
really matter. I don't know why I shuffled it. Like,
I think
I'll draw my 2.
this is still a problem though,
Um,
Yes. it
because
is, because
Tesla
Tes-
doesn't need to engage. You
pass,
double
pass.
maneuver.
Yeah.
Right, so you pass. I
You go down
You
to
force
6,
Bat
it's
to
still-
double arrive,
6,
and then
so yeah, it doesn't matter. if
you
you-
double maneuver, go down to
Swing
2.
it if you
He
want.
maneuvers,
Oh,
dies.
wait, let's think about it.
Because if he goes, if he arrives and attacks you, you kill him with Lightning Storm. He can't kill you over because you'll have 6 health.
Maneuver.
Yeah, so Tesla has it guaranteed here,
Um,
I believe.
Just as long as he.
1, 2.
Now I'm looking at it.
Will-
Oh, if he stays here though, there's a spot not in his zone, which I think he will stay.
Yeah. That's a good point. If he was in that
No,
spot, the gray right next to it. Yeah, as long as you don't make it possible for Bat to attack you while not in your zone. Yeah, so Bat can get him down to 3 here, but he'll die to the lightning storm.
It's close.
And if he
close.
double arrives, then Tesla
It's
just
2 health,
double
it's 2 health
maneuvers.
close. If I
Right.
And then
had to
Bat
take one more card, you would have
has to maneuver.
Right. So, let's have fun.
Go out with a bang.
I mean, there's no other way to go, right?
Right, there's no other way.
There's no other way to go.
Yep, and there it is. Gets as close as he can, but not quite good enough.
Yeah, that was good game. That was
Yeah, wild. So one more, if he had been able to have one more, if he had one more card
So did
to
you-
work
did you-
with,
did
he
you
would have
get
been
the-
fine there.
you didn't-
Actually,
Mhm.
funnily enough, if he would have gotten back skirmish instead of the cancel, I don't know, because he could have boosted it up. Never mind. I was gonna say, if there was a way to, because it would have been the X-ray. He took the one from canceling the X-ray. If he had one more health, that would have also.
No, I mean I was
Got
I was
him there.
attacking with real attacks. You blocked
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing here was just not seeing the schemes.
Oh yeah, no, that was a
For
big
most
deal
of the
for sure.
If you had hit your offense early,
Which, I mean, at least 2/3 of his attacks were without ability, which when Bat's attacking without ability, usually not doing a ton of damage. So
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do when you're not drawing the outline.
I don't know. It was weird because I was attacking you so much. You did get on the back foot and started to just have to run, and then as soon as it got down to
All right, so.
all right, I don't
That
know
will
if
give
you
Crockpot
consider-
the win for game 1. Now just has to win with Achilles.
you don't wanna
DoubleCrunch
attack
has to beat Achilles twice,
And then it
once
was
with
just
Golden
like
Bat,
this.
once with Sinbad if he wants to win.
perpetual.
The
Alright, what's gonna happen
Achilles
is you get that
Golden Bat 1,
so-
I
Yeah,
believe is
again,
pretty even based on the
I don't
stats.
know if I
The
think
problem becomes Sinbad is a little rough into Achilles.
get back the others.
It's not overwhelmingly so, but Achilles definitely does have a leg up in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we
he
saw
was the
Sinbad
last
pull it
thing.
out in that crazy game that you had on your
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah, no, we've seen it, so it's not impossible by any means. That one was ridiculous. If we can get anything close to that again,
Yeah, that was-
I will be very happy.
who you wanna take into-
But yeah, you would have much rather had Sinbad into something like Tesla,
Achilles.
because that one is a bit rough from the Tesla side. Again, one that Tesla can win. It's just not it's not ideal for him.
I don't see anything yet. I want to.
Who are your two fighters?
Maps.
So now we'll see who
Golden Bat
Double
and
Crunch
Sinbad.
decides to go with for
Right.
game 2 into Achilles.
I think we're gonna have to go with Sinbad.
Yep, starting with Sinbad, I agree, because you always want to go with the
Sinbad,
matchup that you want,
Right.
the rougher
Oh,
matchup,
this
because
is-
you want
okay,
the choice of
good.
advantage
Back in position.
in that one.
Where we want position.
Whereas the more even matchup, you don't mind if your opponent gets it. That does mean that you're more open. You open yourself up more to getting O2'd, but like it doesn't matter whether you
Yeah.
go O2 or 1-2, you lose and are eliminated either way. So you go for what gives you the best chance of winning the whole match, which in this case is taking Sinbad. So I agree with that choice.
Mhm. I think the one concern then
Did we
becomes
tell them our-
Achilles will get map picked
Yeah.
in game 3 against Golden Bat.
It's true, and that is something to think about, perhaps.
Because I've never played that matchup, but I would assume that Golden Bat's main out is just being able to tank enough hits and just exhaust Achilles. But if Achilles can pick the map and provide consistent pressure, it seems like it could be a little rough.
Yeah.
Okay, Sinbad picked position for game 2.
Interesting. Okay.
Alright, so Yukon is banned.
maybe you just wanted to start pressuring immediately, but I would assume that you would kind of want a bigger map and not let Achilles pick something small.
And then let's get rid of Solomon's.
Solomon's. All right. No pockets for me. All right.
Baskerville, Solomon's, Yukon. Are we sure that Achilles isn't banning these maps?
I was about to say, I'm shocked to see Achilles picking Yukon.
Because, like, I mean, I feel like out of all the melee fighters, Sinbad is not one that cares as much about that. Especially against someone like Achilles.
Like, and Sinbad exhausts pretty quick, but nobody exhausts quicker than Achilles, so... Or other than Rex, but...
Well, because the other funny thing is, like, even if your opponent does try to run away on Yukon, like, let's say he kills Porter, like, super early, and then just tries to stay away. Well, first of all, as long as Pat's still on the board, like, he's not going to be able to... Like, you're going to be able to reach someone, and all that. But also, like, Sinbad can just overdraw and discard Voyages if he wants to boost up his movement. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Sinbad doesn't care as much about that map.
This matchup, I don't think ever.
Let me look at the stats and see what some of the maps maybe.
Who's aggressing who? Just tell me that.
It does look like Baskerville is one that Achilles has had some success on. Only 6 plays, but he's won more than he's lost.
Okay. That's all I need to know. I know you're aggressing me. Obviously, you're
I mean, makes sense.
Sanctum,
you're able to just
Sanctum is a 4/4 for Achilles. So I mean, that's a map I always think to ban against Achilles. Doesn't go for it here. T-Rex Paddock is a high one for Achilles in the matchup. So fun fact, Yukon actually is 4-1 for Achilles in the matchup. So maybe I'm just missing why it's better. I mean, maybe you play to keep Pat alive?
Yeah,
Sinbad does have a lot of draw.
And
And like, in order to get his Voyages build up, he wants to draw a decent number of cards. It's not a common strat for Achilles, but if you can, like... And sometimes it's like, since your opponent doesn't want Pat to die early, if they let Pat live too long, and then you can keep him alive, you can actually play towards exhaustion as Achilles. But yeah, we're just gonna go Sanctum, so that's not gonna be the game plan here. This is one that we'll see whether or not we'll get a first-hand example of why you should ban this against Achilles. The problem with a map like this, I feel, is not only does it give Achilles the tight map that he wants, but it also takes away your advantage as Sinbad, which is in the late game you ramp up and just have full control over where you go, and you can potentially back off from a melee opponent when you want to build up a bit of hand or whatever, and they can't reach you, and then on your turn, because you can move a million spaces, you can reach them still. But we'll see. Like I said, this one's been played 4 times, and all of them have gone Achilles' way, but that is a small sample size.
Yeah. I think the one thing you could have going for you is if you're able to camp on the item tokens and have Achilles approach you and try to negate some invisibility, but...
Yeah, there's also the token that draws a bunch, so you could use that to maybe find some Voyages early on.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you also have the Brazier, so you could pull out a Riches and draw even more.
That would be an interesting play. But I mean, I guess I could see it.
I feel like this is probably one of the matchups where you don't need to Riches as much, because I don't know, depends on when you get it. Obviously, if Achilles is angry and he has a bunch of cards, maybe you'd go for it. But otherwise, I think you can find enough draw and stuff to be fine. Though, again, with the map this tight and how Achilles wants to put pressure on, maybe you will want to draw the extra cards at times. Sinbad does get his pick of what tokens he wants to play for, though, because he is going first if he so desires. I'd assume he's going to, because it'd be weird to give Achilles map and first position.
Yeah, we're back in Arsenal, the early days.
Full advantage, just you know, get the old feeling again. Nope, we are gonna see Sinbad go first. Sin good, yes, yes, he was.
Which even for a small map, though, the starting spaces are far enough apart that Sinbad can't reach Achilles at all. And if Porter wants to reach, I think he needs to boost with commanding, which would feel pretty rough. Because obviously Sinbad's boost value is quite low.
Yeah. Yeah, Pat's just going to be a nuisance as well.
Dude, I'm sorry, my AC bucket was overflowing, so I had to go like.
All right, yes, I agree with Cosmic Zap in the chat. You put Porter on the blue purple. You maneuver onto the brazier with Porter. You play Riches. Is that an any? Actually, that's a good point. I've never actually looked at whether that's a Sinbad or an any. It will determine whether this play is legal or not.
In detail.
Oh, okay. Oh, settle down.
Ah, damn, it's a Sinbad card. Ruined. Otherwise, you'd be able to overdraw by what would it be? Would it be by 2 cards? Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Because you'd go up to 6 from the maneuver. You wouldn't actually lose a card from playing the Riches because you're doing it off of the token. And then you'd end with 9. You'd discard 2 Voyages and you'd be off to the races.
Oh, I'm gonna mulligan.
Until you don't draw any Voyages, and then you have just 2 cards tossed.
Yeah, that would be rough.
I wasn't ready, but I think it's all right. I think we're fine. I just panicked. I panicked.
I think my primary concern for Sinbad here on this map is just how many hits can you take from Angry Achilles? Because you have 15 health, you don't have the best defenses in the world, you have the 2 healing off the voyage, but on a map like this, he can hit you every single turn if he wants to.
It's fine. All we got to do is cancel 3 Pat cards and then hit regroups into all of the helms.
Sounds like a pretty straightforward game plan. So.
and then it's just easy from there.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. I like. I'm a big fan of the. Big fan.
Got the Achilles shirt. That's a nice one. I like that.
Always ready with the proper shirt for the fighter.
See, this is a good tournament game, right?
Yeah.
This time, I did run into a problem though. We're both are like orange colored characters though.
I will become red.
Red? Look too weird. Let's see. Oh, it works. It works.
Does it? How about? Ooh, that's
That looks clean. That looks clean. That's clean right there. Yeah, we're going with that one. I tried blue and it didn't work.
All right. Let's get it going.
Yes, Sinbad. I'm really scared.
I do like the positioning for Pat here. If Sinbad wants to go camp on the +2, he's going to give Pat a double attack.
You wouldn't dare. You would not dare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's right next to both of those item tokens, which is being very helpful. And just looking at the items, I think the astral ring being in the middle is always interesting. I think you can do a lot more with that, moving everyone one space when you start in the middle versus one of the corners. So it'll be interesting to see if that gets utilized or
Yeah.
it just becomes at some point.
I do find the ring most of the time
Alright,
feels
I
like it's
will-
kind of just doesn't do anything. But to your point, I do think it being positioned in the center, because that's where a lot of fighters are going to position on this map, could make it slightly more relevant than it would be otherwise. And because you have a sidekick, like both sides can potentially use it to have one of their fighters go onto it, the other one position, you know, maybe they're just out of range of a fighter, and then the ring lets them move
This is weird.
closer, like because they
Is this
positioned
what
up
we want
well
to
on
do?
a previous turn. I don't know. There's a few ways that it might see use. Also, it can just be
Is
used
being
as a
unfair to
pass
the
at times, or to like push someone off an item that you don't want them like immediately
I'll
using.
use that.
We are gonna see it here, actually. As much as we talked about
No.
it not, I mean, we're not gonna see it like do too much here. I'm actually curious as to why it's even being used in the first place. I'll be honest with you. I guess just pushing
I think now it's more
pushing
to
away
do-
from Achilles. Yeah. I guess that's fine.
Oh wait, I can move everybody.
If you don't want to boost, okay, hit Pat, and then he'll just take some damage. So
I'm sorry.
Let's
Yes,
see why
thank you.
it was used.
I will. That's not me. That's my bad. I'll make sure it's like real snappy where I put Pat. I'll put Pat there. Okay.
It's good Pat positioning because it means if Sinbad wants to boost in and attack Achilles, he has to be adjacent to Pat. Unless he attacks with exactly... well, I mean, if he's trying to do a voyage, it has to be exactly the cannibals. If he wants to just get away, he could attack with like Toil or Leap Away, but that doesn't sound great.
yeah, especially the leap away is one of your
Yeah, no, you don't
four-
you don't want to use it on offense in this matchup. Achilles just uses a heal and laughs at you all day long.
Yeah,
Wait. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, these are safe to
Makes
block
sense.
with early.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Gets a little peek here. Okay. No Pat cards, so that's
Go for it.
good for Sinbad. Actually, this is a
Mhm.
pretty bad hand when you're not angry Achilles. This would be a great angry Achilles hand. But it's a very bad
I like
happy
saying
Achilles
that.
hand.
Something could
You
help.
do not want these doubles early on, generally.
Right.
That's interesting, right? That's a
no,
little-
the one value attack is not doing a lot. And then
No, I
three
mean,
obviously.
it's still nice, like, because you can potentially, like, bait with it, especially if Pat attacks, and maybe get either an undefended 3 into them because they don't want to waste another card or not. But if Pat's attacking, they're probably going to feint. Now,
Okay, so if I attack
you would rather have a double feinted early from Pat instead of a Pat card usually, but
Yeah.
it's still not great. Like, this is bad. This is very bad right now, what Achilles has going on.
Yeah, because the helm you're not too worried about early as Sinbad. I mean, didn't expect to see Crockpot throw it on the last defense, which makes sense that he held on to it because you're expecting a voyage, and even the next voyage, as long as it's not
voice. Now you're moving
the 2 damage voyage. I'm blanking on the name.
Interesting.
Doesn't change the math at all with Pat.
Maneuver.
Putting him down to 5 doesn't mean that much of a difference, assuming he's just doing 2 self damage with each of his attacks.
Okay. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Freaking Vorpal board. The worst. The bane of my existence.
Alright. That's the one thing I really miss about the TT.
Yeah, Hubar's
Yeah,
good
it's like,
point
really
with
spend time
I
just
I do think because snakes,
Uh,
I think in a lot of people's opinion, and I would probably include myself within it, is the worst voyage. Well, maybe it's the second worst because I feel like the draw voyage is often worse than the snakes, just because you have so much draw already that you don't really need the draw voyage. But all the other voyage effects are just so good that snakes kind of feels underwhelming in comparison. But hand knowledge is always nice, and especially in a situation like this, like, you do get a lot of value out of it here. And I feel like that's probably the case a good chunk of the time. It definitely depends on the matchup, but I think a lot of times it can be good.
Ah.
Goes for the feint,
Okay.
thinking that there was the test for weakness. and it's the 4 instead, so takes 2 damage. Does not catch the double like he was probably hoping to.
Lucky that I top decked it. Alright, and your turn.
Yeah, or thinking a Pat card was drawn because we did see a maneuver. So
Yeah,
one
it's true.
card
It's
that could have
true.
been drawn.
Stopping the action
Now
gain
he's-
is positive, but taking 2 damage is rough.
Yeah.
And that's the other funny thing is I was pretty sure when Crockpot attacked with that it was the new card drawn because I don't think he shuffled his hand at all. So maybe that was part of the mind games, like, oh, he top deck a pack card, I'll cancel it, and it's the 4, and I take 2. Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, I did see him shuffle. So
He
it
did
was
shuffle. Okay, I wasn't looking, so he did shuffle. Fair enough. It would be the next level mind game though. The not shuffle and be like your one's like, wait, did he top deck the pad card, or is it worse for me? Thing.
So we have an attack coming. You know the helm is in hand, which makes me think this probably isn't a shift.
Mm-hmm.
Could just be a porter card trying to draw 2. Could be a regroup. But maybe it's a double mind game, and since you know that he knows that you have...
Alright, you know what I'm gonna do here, probably. So probably
But I don't think Achilles has. Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. Alright, I'll take 1.
I guess getting the 4 back does make
I'll
sense.
bring back.
And if you don't expect
I'll bring back.
the shift, then you can kind of almost keep that mind game alive by holding on to the helm.
Mm-hmm.
So now he doesn't want to attack with shift next attack either, and then you kind of keep putting him in tough spots.
Yeah.
My brothers in arms.
Plus now you have another good card for Pat to possibly attack with.
Yeah. A little surprised that he was thinking that long about it, because I would never get heal back over
I will. Oh, should I just attack
over
Yeah.
Brother in Arms. I mean, like, I could understand if you had, like, no defense, but he has 2 good defenses. He has a feint if Sinbad comes in. Like, you don't want to use all your feints early against Sinbad because you would rather save them for late voyages. But he's got a helm. Like, if you've got a helm, I don't think you're really ever that concerned. And heal is not, like, a defense you want to be getting back regardless.
No.
It's still, like, it still can block a Sinbad attack pretty safely. Unless Sinbad just is like, I know you have a heal. I'm gonna hit with a shift, gain an action, then hit with a voyage. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
2 more safe voyages to block with heal.
And I will.
yeah, we're in the stage where heal is still fine to block with, but like you have 2 more in the deck, and it's not a generally desirable card. It gets worse the later the game goes on, especially against Sinbad.
We'll go right there, and your turn.
I mean, I would agree with you, Hubaris, that it forces the opponent to either draw or play another card to capitalize on the heal, but we're talking about Sinbad here,
It's weird
which
that I'm going,
is
like,
probably
this
one of the best
weird
characters to do that with.
Stuff early.
Which is the main reason that I want to be as excited about it.
Like, feels odd.
But there are some situations where I could see it being justified.
Okay, let's see the regroup boost, because still neither of them can reach Achilles. Oh, I don't. Oh, yes, he has 3 movement now. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. I think getting to up to 3 was big, because you can get basically anywhere here in 4. And so now you have kind of boost ability anywhere, and you expect probably another voyage coming here.
Yeah. And Sinbad's fine with that. He was thinking a while between the 2 spots. I feel like the spot that's not adjacent to Pat is just better, unless you want Pat to attack Sinbad instead of Porter, because you want to keep Porter around and don't maybe have great defenses for him, so you want to bait Pat into not killing him off.
But then I feel like you wouldn't have just moved Porter adjacent.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Oh,
fair.
yeah.
Ooh, that's a nasty one
This
to
one, yeah.
have helmed.
Okay, I will.
Like, I was going to say, if he blocks with helm, it's not great for Achilles because Pat's probably not taking that much damage, but he is against that one.
3-value attack.
Yeah, so that's 1 less Pat attack you need now. You just need 2 to kill him off.
Yeah. And, of course, Pat not getting the full value out of all the Pat attacks does mean he's getting less damage through, but, like, the earlier you get Angry Achilles, the better generally.
Yeah, you still have all 6 6s in play. I don't think you're too worried about losing out on
Yeah,
do damage
especially on a map like this. Like that's if it was a bigger
Yeah.
map, I could see not wanting that, but on this map, that's not the case.
No,
So
you'll
we
be
do
able to
see
attack
Pat
every turn.
go on the +1.
And then I will.
So if there is no cancel here, it's pretty good. I could see using the Brothers in Arms here just to punish the feint a bit more, but if he doesn't have the feint, he'd rather attack with a Pat attack. Okay, it does go for the Brothers in Arms. Sinbad only takes 1,
Action.
draws a card, Achilles gains the
And
action.
then I will.
Pat attack would have been... Well, probably... Well, it's interesting because... I guess if you were attacking with Battle Frenzy, you would have preferred not to use the token. If you're attacking with David Doom, you would have preferred to use it.
I'll
Yeah.
attack.
That would be the ultimate mind game if you attack with Pat there and don't use the token. It's like, what am I doing? Your guess. Do we feint this or not, or do you save it for when the token's coming through?
There's 3 unknown cards in Achilles' hands right now, but you do know there's 2 double attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Nice
So-
damage.
Okay, we see a Hermes.
Does not attack with the double. Hermes not one you see too much on offense, but I kind of like it here actually because it lets you, if you're expecting something like a toil, Sinbad does have 4 of them. It lets you kind of move away from him if he tries to get adjacent to you, and also it lets you get on the +2 token, so that's also relevant.
There we go. 1, 2. Where was that? Was that here? Yeah, it was here.
Pat could also get to the move 3 center spot, which is right above Achilles if he wants. Yeah, just keep on Sinbad. I like it.
I'll go right there.
Let's...
One little thing you can do with the double attacks is you can use the token on either of them. So if you want to use it on the first half, you have to do it before, like when you play down the card. But if you want to use it on the second half, you can do it after the first attack's gone through.
Which that would be a 5 coming at Sinbad.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically its upgraded version already. So if it gets through and Sinbad doesn't cancel it, then like you can be like, well, now you're taking a 5 on the crackback. Especially if he blocks the first half, it's particularly good. Another helm here. Oh, well, Pat's down to 1. So he's only going to get value out of 1 Pat card, but he's gotten good value out of 2 helms. So like that's not terrible, obviously. It is going to make it rough when he starts drawing into those cards, though.
Yeah, although they will be helpful boosts, because you really only need 4 movement to get around this map. And
Very
so,
true. A lot of times they can be, like, a lot of times you try to set up positions where you can boost with them and still reach, and this map, it's very hard for that not to be the case. So they are still, like, useful, even without getting the damage through with them. Because, again, the earlier Pat dies, the more you're going to get with Angry Achilles, and then those can just be used as boosts, and yes, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think it then allows the double attacks to be used as attached, because sometimes you end up, especially with 2 helms already gone, you end up having to boost with those, but you can boost with Pat cards and then hit with doubles, I think you're in a great spot. Plus you have 5 6s left.
Got a sphere throw here.
Then I will.
Probably just using it while Pat's low, because in case he dies, you don't want to lose that. You want to get the damage through now. I can see Achilles going right back onto the +2.
it's your turn.
Also, just a small thing of note, both of these fighters very interesting when determining exhaustion. Obviously, neither fighter really plays towards exhaustion for obvious reasons, but their exhaustion math is also weird, because Achilles goes like turbo draw near the end of a game, because it happens on both offense and defense, so you can actually sometimes attack him with small values, and either he takes it undefended and takes damage, or he's blocking it and winning and drawing more cards. Sinbad, on the other hand, turbos through his deck, but then in the late game, especially once his movement is ridiculous and he can always reach you, he maneuvers attacks, so he kind of like slows down how quickly he's going through his deck. And can... Ooh, okay.
Okay, I'll take one.
Okay.
Gets the
Gain that.
commanding
Are
over
we
the
now
field.
full knowledge of Sinbad here? Or Achilles, sorry.
Yeah, it's true, actually. Yeah, we do know all the cards. So that gives Sinbad a lot of options here, potentially. I mean, if you can force a feint into a not great attack, that would be good. I mean, the commanding is probably what you would have loved. So if it was like a shift into a commanding, like that could have been nasty here. But now if it's a shift, like he's not going to do too much, but it does get rid of a feint that can't go into a voyage later. You could also attack with a 4 here, which is risky because you're using one of your best blocks when Achilles is probably going to get angry here.
We're not gonna get too crazy. We're just gonna be.
Achilles is going to use the +2 and make it a 4 value feint, so even if he is attacking with a 4, it won't get punished. I want to see this be a regroup because it'd be hilarious.
I do care. I do care. I've got so much health.
That would be an excellent bait. Oh, reconsidering maybe?
Well, he's considering now that he has a lot of health, which is true. Achilles has a lot of health,
I don't.
especially because this could be a bait attack from Sinbad.
Will I regret it for the rest of
And I mean, I don't think there's that big of a punish for the feint. Like you said, at worst, it's one of
It's
his
2
three
damage,
remaining
and it's
full
one
value.
of his best blocks. Yeah, so I think not using the token is fine here. Okay,
Okay.
does save a damage, but I wonder if the token could have been used better later on.
That's okay. You know, that's okay.
That's alright.
Yeah, so now we know he only has 2 doubles.
Yeah, and unfortunately, unlike when you're angry, Achilles,
I
you
will-
can't just throw those into the opponent and expect to draw off of them, because you will not here.
Yeah, it's
He is
effectively
also
2.
on the Daily Bugle, though, so he could use that if he wants.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Oh, okay. I was like,
That was just snakes.
right.
We love them.
Yeah. All right. No.
Looks like we're not going to see the Bugle here.
And then I will maneuver again.
Pat saying hello as he does.
Yeah, the no bugle use might indicate a defense drawn
I'll give you options.
that first maneuver.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
stand right there. Nah, I don't want to give you options. We're gonna just stand right there. Nah, let's choose where we want you to go here. Let's. What do we do? What do we do?
Although I feel like as Sinbad here, kind of have to. I mean, the odds that he drew the other helm are pretty low,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know what he has for defense, so this might be a good time for a bigger swing.
Yeah.
Plus,
All right.
if he does play the helm and Pat dies,
Okay.
that he has 3 cards in hand, and 2 of them are double attacks, and so at least one of those is gone with the random discard.
Yeah. That's
Possibly.
true. Yeah, I like just keeping the pressure up and going for Achilles. He had 2 top decks, and Achilles does have some of the highest quantity of block in any fighter deck, so it's likely that he has something here. Whether it's ideal or not, we'll see. Because even if he can force out skirmishes on defense, it takes away some of his best attacks once he's angry.
Let's attack.
Helm is
Yeah.
really what you don't want to see, but to your point, you're getting rid of at least one of the doubles at that point. Okay, Wily. Ooh, and gets the heal voyage. That's
Right,
very
take 2.
nice.
2, yeah.
2 into Achilles,
Take 1.
heals back.
Heal
2 takes the 1 from Wily. Very good interaction there for Sinbad.
Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
At this point,
Unlike the Alpines, the Voyage is showing up early for Sinbad here, so
I'll use that.
I'm sure DoubleCrunch is happy to see
Okay, now
at least the
using
key card.
the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put one of them in my back underneath the bottom. Right? Card from my hand, right?
Yep. Yeah, because you draw the 3. Not like
Yeah, not like Invisible Man.
not like Prophecy, where it's like look at the top 4.
Alright, and then I'm going to put.
I feel like that sets you up well in terms of hand count. Because now you can attack or maneuver, and if you find a pack card now, you'll be in a much better spot next turn if you kill them off to survive the random discard.
Yeah.
What do we leave? What do we do?
Plus, even with the bugle, you're still ahead by 2 exhaustion.
You would have loved it if you were adjacent with Pat
I will maneuver.
prior to that, because then you could attack with him theoretically. Although, depending on positioning where Achilles was, maybe you don't want to open yourself up. But still. We're now getting into the territory where Pat dying becomes
And it's your turn.
dangerous for the Achilles side. Usually you want Pat to die around 14 to 18 cards. If you can get it earlier than that, which sometimes you can, and it's amazing. You just roll over your opponent. But at 14 cards, you're starting to get to the point where if he doesn't die soon, your opponent might have outs to exhaust you just through all your natural draw. And Sinbad does still have a lot of big blocks left. So he could potentially survive the big attacks. You know, if he's taking 1 or 2 and you're drawing, like you're going even essentially, if you can get to exhaustion, if you can force Achilles into exhaustion, because obviously every card draw once the deck's empty is 2 damage.
Oh.
So we shall see. Porter coming in here.
Did we see a shift?
I do love a shift.
I just hope he didn't draw the last helm.
He did draw the helm.
Oh, we see the
Regroup. Ah, damn. That's a big interaction there, because now Pat
Okay,
dies
yeah.
on
Yeah.
a turn that
Alright, you
there
can
can no
roll the
there
dice.
there can't be more pressure against Achilles,
Reroll
and
it.
you do have some padding in your hand now to potentially have the cards that you want to keep less likely to be ditched. Where's one of the doubles gone? And a feint. Okay, those are
And a-
2 pretty good hits for
That's
Sinbad.
nice.
The feint in particular is pretty killer. Only losing 1 double though, still has at least 1. It still has a lot of 6s left. Has 5 of them actually. So that's scary. So I think this is ultimately very good for Achilles. The fact that Pat dies there and tanks all the damage from a shift is pretty big.
Yeah, I'd agree. I feel like this becomes the part of the game for Sinbad where you just have Porter going in there and getting as much value out of him before he can die off, and just hopefully eat at least a couple of those 6s.
I could see going pretty aggro with Voyages too, though, to be fair, because only 1 feint left for Achilles. So getting the effects off while you can and hitting big is pretty positive. He's probably not drawing. Well, yeah, he's not going to be drawing unless he feints. So you can potentially keep some card advantage on him too.
Mm-hmm.
Are going to use the token on defense here. I think I like preserving the health more than maybe getting 1 extra damage. Oof. Maybe trying to catch the test for weakness. Did know about that, but it's quite punishing. Obviously, it's not as punishing if he wouldn't have had the +1 token, but yeah, that is not ideal. But same token, if it's the test for weakness, which you know is in hand, and you like leap away it with a +1 token, you're kind of wasting that and then taking a 5 on top of it. Okay, this is big.
Okay.
This is big.
Yeah. Raw Voyage.
That's like the ideal sequence there. 2 damage, draw a card, and gain the action, so you still have 2 actions here. That's where heal is real rough.
Yes. Which you have to imagine he probably doesn't have great blocks if you're throwing heal there.
Yeah. Well, we know he can only have max 2 blocks in hand. Sinbad has some more voyages. This could get very ugly for Achilles here.
Yeah.
I guess there's actually only 2 left. There's the Voyage Home, of course.
And then the random discard. Voyage,
oh my god, the
would...
random discard voyage goes insane here. Holy cow. Can you imagine random discard voyage into Voyage Home? That's just lights out, honestly, I feel.
The triple voyage turn. Which not possible.
Oh my god!
Wow.
And he took
Here it is.
Holy! I think Sinbad might just win this game here.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What does this say after combat?
Wow, okay.
Oh boy, exciting stuff.
Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'd be curious if he has 1 defense and is just trying to reserve it for the last attack here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Or
thinking
just
this is a
doesn't have
bait
it.
attack, that's definitely could be the case. Okay, loses the card we knew about. Jeez.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, this game went from you know, nice back and forth to holy cow, we're killing each other very quickly.
Yeah, I'll take it, GG.
Oh, no block.
Okay.
Oh, he's alive
Oh.
at 1, but he's very much not in a good spot. And yeah, he just doesn't have a block.
Which now shift is just lethal.
Yeah, actually shift is guaranteed.
Oh my gosh, this has been
Because there's no tokens left on the board.
of a round for me.
Nope.
And
Really,
Porter
really
could always be the one to go in too. Like
Now is when
Achilles is
Steve
not going
Rich
to be
is
able
on
to.
air.
This is where the map actually starts helping Sinbad because now Achilles has nowhere to
that's
run. Although to be fair, with 7 movement, or sorry, 8 movement, would you really have anywhere to run? No, I guess not. But you gotta let. Okay, we got the pat boost. I mean, you have to just hope that Sinbad also doesn't have blocks here, but if he attacked with a leap away, I feel like he's fine. Yeah, okay.
3.
That is 3 damage. Sinbad is getting low, but he can go wherever he wishes. He could even go and, honestly, he could just maneuver onto the brazier and rip out his riches if he doesn't have it in hand, which I don't think would be a bad play. If he has the shift, he just wins.
Oh, there you go. This feels like.
Or might be counting. You get that right.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need to count.
Feels like it could
If
be
he has
just
the
a
shift, it's
here.
just game over.
Please be a Porter card and not a Mentis.
Yep, there's the shift.
Yeah, GG.
Oh, wow.
Man, what a crazy game! So that one escalated very quickly.
So how much was that in one turn? So there was, I guess, 2 over the heel, and then an undefended 7.
I think Achilles was
and
at
then
14.
Yeah, I
He
think it was
took
13
2.
in one turn.
He took 2, and then he took 7, and then he took, yeah, it was 13 in one turn. That'll do it.
Wow.
I expected the feint. I did expect the feint, but also I was hoping you kind of wouldn't. You know, it was one of those things. I should have.
All right, that will even us up.
Throw your freaking thing, then you're getting 3 attacks off. I didn't think you would have 2.
Explosive
That's also why you
game
can't
there.
just go purely off stats, right? Like, even though Achilles has the advantage, like, wild stuff like that can happen.
Yeah, and it seemed like he was in total control there, and then just had a couple rough draws, and DoubleCrunch capitalized perfectly. Having to have 2 voyages in hand.
Yeah, losing the
Very
feint
fun.
on the random discard when Pat died was, I think, the deciding factor there. Like, that just put him in a really bad spot. Like, if he had lost both doubles, I think he's fine there.
So that was, I misplayed there.
But yeah, losing the feint was what kind of started the snowball.
Would have probably saved you because I was scared when Achilles because I was like, he's got lots of 4s that become 6s.
And yes, all the voyages early for Sinbad is also always going to be huge. Like, that's going to put him in a good spot, regardless most of the time. Oh man, feint next card.
And I was just like,
That's rough, yeah.
Wait, so if
None of
feint,
them-
wait, so what you're telling me is if you wanted a spear thrown earlier,
Yeah.
he would have had a feint.
I was like, well, didn't throw a feint the first action. I was going to throw it in second action.
Makes you think.
Makes you think.
Oh, there's this.
At that point, if I get the random discard off and you played a card, that's like, that's a 2-for-1.
Although to be fair, I do think he double maneuvered. Or no, he maneuvered attacked. So he might not have had. He might not have had it by the, or no, he attacked and then maneuvered. I don't know. He probably actually wouldn't have had it for that turn when Sinbad did the double voyages, so probably didn't actually make that much of a difference. Although I guess it would have been one more card in hand that could have been ditched instead of the feint. So I don't know. You never know. There's always some inherent randomness with what Achilles loses off the Pat Death, and sometimes it can really screw you over.
Yeah, because he lost the double and the double and the feint. That's pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Sinbad survives against Achilles on a tiny map. Which is impressive, and now we get to see Achilles' golden map, which I'm assuming Achilles will be picking map.
Oh yeah, I would be very surprised if not.
Oh, this is stressful. Okay,
Hey Mike, thanks for the sub, the 16-month sub. This is indeed cinema.
Yeah, I gotta think here.
Get 2 3-minute break, and I'll be like right back.
Alright, another matchup I've not played. This is just a matchup I've not
The Sinbad Achilles games have not disappointed on your stream.
No, honestly, they've been so good. Some of the best of the recent streams. 100%.
Okay. That feels appropriate, but
This will be an interesting one, though. 2 18 health heroes, no healing, just going at it with huge pack.
yeah.
To hopefully win this, because if I don't win, because I have a feeling that the Sinbad one must be way tougher, which I think was pretty tough.
Double, I will take. I'm gonna take map.
Yep, Achilles is taking map.
Yeah, you can ban.
Sense. I would assume we see Herod ban. That was pretty rough.
Yeah, Herod is so bad for Bat. Unless you're specifically going against Tomoe and shut the door in her face like 20 times. Oh,
yeah.
I'm never going to leave that one down. But, yeah, against Achilles especially, it's a map he already likes, and it's a map that's awful for Bat. So I think you got to ban that one. Also goes for Baskerville, which I can understand.
So did I choose the map the last time? Yeah, I did. Did I choose map last time?
I mean, you could think about Raptor Paddock. You could do Sanctum. I just think Herod's a must.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm sorry. Do you care? You've already banned the map. It's up to you at this point. I think I'm supposed to go position.
Because Baskerville does have the pocket, the other map with the pocket, obviously Solomon's, but I think you're totally fine if Achilles picks that. Yeah, I'd expect to see Herod, and then either Raptor Paddock or Sanctum. Looks like Baskerville's now been unbanned.
Alright, you ban your maps, I'm gonna go grab myself a snack and stuff.
Alright, yeah.
Let's see the stats here. See if there's been any maps that have been played a ton. Looks like Baskerville is good for Bat. Only 4 plays, but he's won 3 out of the 4. Point Pleasant looks like it's good for Bat. Oh, small amount of plays though, so it's hard to say for sure. Big surprise, he lost the Yukon map. Herod does look like it is positive for Achilles. 3 out of the 4, he has won there.
Oh man, what would they do? What would they do?
Raptor Paddock is also good for Achilles. Again, only 3 games, so not a ton. Out of 29 plays, it's a 45%
no, but it's freaking golden
for Achilles, 55 for Golden Bat. But again, with that few plays, like 30 is a decent amount, but with only a 5% difference, indicates to me that it's probably pretty close overall.
I agree. It feels like it could be pretty map dependent. Like I could see on a big map, Golden Bat being a really good spot. On a smaller map, I think he needs to line up defenses correctly and be able to survive all the big hits.
Yeah. Bat's won twice on Globe Theater.
Yeah, I feel like the tough thing with picking map is always like how much weight do you put into the specific matchup on that map versus like each fighter's good and bad maps in general. Like if you just pick one map because you've won 2 out of the 3 times on that map, or do you just pick a map that's good for you overall and rough for them?
Yeah, exactly.
So
and it is funny because some of the stuff that Achilles likes, Bat also likes, right? Because of Alpine and stuff, so it's something to keep in mind. Herod is definitely one of the maps that Bat does not like that Achilles does, so...
Solomon.
Goes for Solomons.
That's
I actually think Solomon's ends up being fine for the Bat side once Pat's dead. There is a move for center, but it's in a little bit of a weird spot, and the passageways don't necessarily help. If you hop between them, like, makes it sometimes difficult to reach. He needs those bigger boost values, and he only has so many of them, and some of them are on the double attacks, which, especially against Golden Bat, can put a lot of pressure on him. Here, yep.
Yeah, but I feel like Solomon is not as brutal for Achilles if he's against just a solo melee fighter. When you have that second sidekick that can really get in the way, then I think it gets tough. But
yeah.
Get rid of the bastard hill.
Okay, we're just getting rid of the passageways.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
so it seems like we might see Raptor Paddock. We might see another Sanctum, maybe.
Sanctum does get a little bit scary because Bat can really utilize the Brazier quite well, especially if it's in the center.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it's on one of the edges with Arrive. And a move 3 center for Bat seems pretty good. That being said, at the same time, it's really good for Achilles too, so maybe it ends up being better for Achilles ultimately.
This is another tough.
Because then Bat doesn't have draw,
for sure.
really. So once Achilles gets angry, if he's on a tight enough map to always just be smacking and drawing, like, that's gonna put Bat under a lot of pressure, even with his own big hits potentially coming through.
And you're ending next to him,
I think we
which
go-
could set up his ability, but you don't really care
No,
because he's not going to have the cards to throw into you because he needs to stay alive.
Yeah, like he's maybe like if he goes for a double attack, maybe he gets some good damage into you, but then like you just murder him on your turn. So
Let's
like,
go Hell's Kitchen.
ooh, Hell's
Exactly.
Kitchen, interesting.
Yeah, let's go Hell's Kitchen.
That is interesting.
Are you there?
Yep, I got you.
I think we want to go Hell's Kitchen. No, do I want to go Hell's Kitchen?
You do get an advantage on item maps like
Pressure's
this
getting to me.
when you are a fighter with a sidekick versus a solo fighter. So that is something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
You got a lot of good cards to recur. And again, if Bat wants to be the one to get the phone booth,
Sure.
because he'll get position choice and decide where he wants
Golden Bat?
to go in relation to the phone booth. The
There's so many good maps.
the thing to note is, unless he can like use a good card that he wants to recur right away and then back off of it, the longer he sits on it, the more he can just like have Pat sit there and smack him. So like he has to be careful to a degree on how greedy he gets about it. But I think just stopping you from getting it would be fine enough for him as long as he gets a good card back. There's some healing on here as well.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if Golden Bat, because Golden Bat typically wants to go second, but
Game three,
whether or not the map and the item layout will be enough to
Second, I gotta
convince
scratch real quick.
him to go first at some point.
Yeah, because this is one of the maps where the item very much can determine whether you like what position you take. Now, the downside, of course, and this is also something to keep in mind for Bat, is if the phone booth is on the spot right next to the second player and Bat goes second,
you know what I should do?
it is possible that Achilles could double maneuver boost Pat onto that spot and just sit there. So Bat still wouldn't get it even if he goes second. And I honestly think that's probably the right call if the phone booth is there. So we'll see.
Googled.
Medkit's over
Yeah,
on the left.
which- That could try to do something like
All right,
attack
phone
with
booth's
the
in the
script.
middle, so
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Googled.
don't have to worry, because the thing is, if it was over on the right, then if you give Achilles second, then he just puts Pat on it, so you can't get it on your first turn. Or he puts Pat like around it, so you can't get in, unless you arrive, I guess. But then you're between two of them. Big brain move. You start first as Bat. you Alpine onto the phone booth, and then you get back the Alpine with the phone booth. I actually think it might be the right call if you have Alpine in your opening hand. Because it means you don't have to sit on the phone booth. You don't let Achilles recur off of it, and he's gonna have the advantage because he has a sidekick for controlling the tokens. So I actually think it's probably correct. He's going second. Is he maybe just saying screw it? Achilles can get something back, but I'm going hard exhaustion route, going second. This seems weird.
Yeah, I mean, usually Bat wants to force the initiative, but when you have the payphone, you can just let him get something back.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you're never gonna be forced into over. Well, because even if and I've done this before. I've actually done it as red on this map. I played against Drac on this map once as red, and literally turn 1, I maneuver, boosted onto the phone booth, used it. Don't have to worry about it anymore. And I kept my wild in my basket because I took the card out of my discard pile. So yeah, I don't know. Alpine turn 1 and to get it back just seems like maybe the better thing to go for, but maybe you don't want to be forced to mulligan into Alpine, but I feel like you just want it anyway early on. So I feel like you're already looking for Alpine, so like kind of seems like the natural inclination, but I don't know. We'll see.
This feels like now you can kind of just have Pat camp on it, hide Achilles behind it, and then send one of them out to do something and just keep the other one on it, and then recur it a couple turns later. Because the only way that Bat could move somebody off of it would be with skirmish. Because if you have Pat on it, that's just 4 damage into Pat if you want to kill him off.
So
quickly.
we've been focused on the phone booth. Are we maybe thinking that Bat values getting the map more? Because he could double maneuver first turn, and then that either it forces initiative either way onto Achilles, but then it sets Bat up to just be on the map, and then map attack, and he gets his ability no matter where Achilles is.
Yeah, I think all of the items on this are going to be very interesting, because you also have the healing on the other side.
Maneuver.
So I could see Achilles. I'm actually a little surprised Achilles isn't going one of the +2s just to guard against that map. Oh, he's going to boost. Okay, maybe he's just going to pin Bat in here. I don't actually hate that.
Or do you just stay there?
If you have helms in hand, I don't actually hate it. Because if he attacks Achilles, you just helm. If he attacks Pat, you let it happen.
I will stay there and...
Okay, he's just going to stay there. That's fine.
Which, I mean, you don't need to necessarily be on the +2 this turn, because you don't expect...
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
It
could be next turn. Yeah. You're correct.
My initial plan was definitely to go pin you, so... it was super tempting. Super tempting.
Okay, not going to play for the map. It does open him up to a pin, so that is a consideration.
Every time I do that, I regret it.
Achilles also kept, so it could mean that he's got, like, maybe he's got a helm to stop those shenanigans.
Which, I mean, here seems perfect to just spear throw and then just get it back immediately.
Mm-hmm. I think because of that, you don't want to stay in the zone. You could have gotten out of the zone.
Done?
Yep.
Would have required a boost, though, right?
Would it?
He was in that.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you have one of the throwaway boosts, I would have done it, but I guess if not, then that's reasonable.
I'll spirit throw you.
Yep.
Yep.
And there's no way, or at least I don't think there's a way that he's not getting it back right away. I mean, I guess the funny thing is if Bat on his turn goes and gets the first aid kit, you basically have the 2 of them cancel each other out. So I could see just waiting and trying to get more value out of the recursion.
Maneuver.
What's he gonna do? Kill Pat? Pat can just live there, or not. Pat can also get up in your face. He's good at doing that.
Because if he does decide to go for the first aid kit, he'll have to likely maneuver over there to draw up to 8, and then the med kit draws a card
Yeah.
as well. So then he'll be up to 9.
Yeah, that's not ideal. You're gonna see him go for Achilles instead. Maybe something like an Eye Beams.
Which doesn't hurt as bad for Achilles when you're on.
It's
Take
true.
him off.
If you really hate what he discards, you can just get it back.
Eye beams without ability is pretty good into the helm though. So you're not dealing any damage and
Yeah.
you are getting the discard. So
100%. Ooh! Gets that
Okay.
interaction that I talked about last, or in game 1 rather. Getting the
I had that
the
in my
super
hand
strength into the
first
feint.
for the feint.
Love to see it.
yeah, he seems very keen to throw the 5s off ability, and they've both given him I think 3 damage, so they've worked out. Which now Achilles gets in an interesting spot because if he wants to, he's attacking, and if he wants to use the scheme second action, he stays next to Bat.
Yeah.
He may just move onto it.
Bat could also roar
then
here
just-
and guarantee that Achilles stays next to him.
hmm Which I feel like you might probably have a helm in hand, in which case, and if there's an attack with ability.
Sight is not what you want to see.
No.
But, couple things. It doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't have better defense. He could have been safeguarding against a test for weakness, which would have been pretty annoying there if he had to do a good block into the first half.
Don't cheat.
And now he does get some info, which is always nice with Sight. It's actually something. So these types of effects against Achilles can be quite nice when Pat's about to die. Not a concern here, but like I've in the Moon Knight matchup, I've used that's the part I like to get that info, kill Pat because he has like no defenses coming, and then just try to pressure Achilles, and it's worked pretty well.
It's your turn.
So that's something the Bat could theoretically do in a situation like this, but not going to happen here because Pat's healthy and Achilles still has an action here.
I think we'll use that now.
Yeah.
Achilles
Okay.
actually has 2 actions, right? Yeah, because that was first action, then he
Yeah.
gained it back. So he can get something back. Could be the Brothers in Arms. It could just get the Brothers in Arms and then attack with it again and then still have another action. That seems pretty annoying for Bat. Bat hates action gain because puts a lot of pressure on his defenses.
Yeah, I think the Brothers in Arms there was great, right? Because then the turn doesn't end with him standing next to Bat if he wants to use that scheme. So
Yeah.
seems like we will see another attack here.
I'll attack.
Now this is where if Bat has the imposing presence, he could stuff the Brothers in Arms and then get a ability off. Just gonna be the 5 though. That would have been a nasty mix-up with the double attack there.
And then
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Another action.
I think Achilles is probably happy to see a 5 gone.
Oh yeah, definitely still happy about that. Particularly because that was just an extra Brothers in Arms that he got thanks to the payphone.
Yeah, and now another attack.
Ooh,
Hey,
good
Both
insight
getting
here.
cards back.
Man,
So
he's gonna
two
he's gonna,
great
he's gonna
options.
use this force so many times. This Brothers in Arms is getting a workout, that's for sure.
Yeah.
you're first.
Well, he's got he's got 2 really good cards and an awful card.
Here,
So drag the whole, drag all 3 cards, and then you're going to click form a new deck, whatever it says.
Now I will say, while in Vorpal it usually is best to make a new deck like the players are doing right now, since there's only 3 cards, they could roll a die at this point. It would be easy enough to do, but hey, the deck's more fun, so we'll go with it.
well, it's easier to do it now versus when there's like 23 cards and you gotta pick one.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that.
Once you get like past 8 cards or so, or if you have like a weird or like an odd number of cards that doesn't roll cleanly. No! I mean, the best card. That's clearly the best option.
Not in my favor, but hey, I will take it.
You know, that it's just a magnet for this card. It's just a magnet. It's guaranteed, actually. It was never not. It basically, the text on that card says, if you have a sight beyond sight in your discard pile, add it to your hand.
And it's your turn.
Basically, because now if you Alpine, you have to make a tough decision between the 5s. Whereas if you could have gotten one of them back with the Ancients, then it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because you'd have a clear choice.
You also could have just had a 7 here to smack Achilles. Now, I feel like he probably has a helm since he was fine staying in next to you. So maybe you don't want to smack with a 5 at the end of the day.
I don't know what you could
Which
be doing here.
a flash becomes interesting then.
Just in case it is big.
Okay,
Yeah,
I-beam's
okay.
pretty fine here. Only 2 damage to Pat, and you get another card out of him. Could be that Brothers in Arms.
Exactly. It's gotten a lot of use going back and forth.
You can't make up its mind where it belongs, hand or discard. Well, still in hand.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good take.
Not the worst card. Like, Wily is a good card, don't get me wrong, but it's not Achilles' best defense. It's also like, I always refer to it as an honorary 6 once he's enraged, because it's a 5 that hits for 1 after. Now, if you're against a fighter who is likely to move away from you, then it's not, right? Like against Sinbad, since he has like toils and stuff, it's unlikely that he gets the full value.
Okay.
And hey, we do have the Alpine here, so to your point, he does have to make a difficult decision between the 5s now.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Going for the offense, though.
Seeing the Alpine's second action is a little surprising.
Well, there wasn't much reason to do it first action, right? Just because you're already next
On
to
this turn,
Achilles.
yeah. I was just thinking.
Oh
of,
yeah,
like,
you mean
next
saving
turn.
it for next turn? Yeah, I could see that. Maybe he just wants extra cards right now. This is gonna net him. Like he basically trades the Alpine in for a card and gets the card that he would have gotten if he just maneuvered. Plus, I mean, theoretically he could draw into the 5, but at this point he probably wants to draw defenses more. So it also lets him get on the health kit without boosting. So that's another consideration.
Yeah.
Alright. I'll maneuver.
Could have been an interesting move to try to kill Pat there and take out 2 or 3 cards in hand, but it feels a little too early to have gone for that.
Yeah.
Because like if you give a kill 22 cards in deck worth of attacks, you're not going to be surviving.
No, I don't think you can ever do that there. We do seem to
Obviously
have a
you can.
problem that we are now stuck here. It's fine. We're gonna heal and then we're gonna arrive just in time.
Yeah.
Let's recover some health and draw a card.
Nice. Congratulations.
Okay, we see the heal.
I'll try sometimes, you know.
We actually took Vanish from Invisible Man's deck and we're gonna play it right now. Imagine if Bat had that card. Holy cow.
And you could just come down on the board anywhere next turn with ability.
Yeah,
That would be
with the
pretty-
double attack from ability. It's like, oh god. He can even roar you first one to stop you from running away. Oh my. Oh, we're getting spicy with it.
So it's your 1. You want to win combat.
Could be maybe a punch, trying to get 2 damage on Achilles as well.
I don't know, but that still kills Pat.
Would it though?
I'll take 3 damage.
Yeah, because he hasn't maneuvered.
Oh yes. No, but Pat's not
Oh,
in his
Pat's
zone.
not in his zone. Oh, you're right. That's clever, actually.
It hurts.
So Pat does live, and then Achilles takes 2. That would be pretty good here if Pat just takes. It would mean he only needs 1 Pat card on you, but if he does it on his turn, like that could put Achilles in a rough spot if he's down to so few cards. We're going to see Pat block, and it was indeed the punch. And we're just going to swap him around,
Let's go.
pin him in here.
Alright, 1 damage.
Now
What's the
Achilles
next-
is the
now
one who's
Pat-
not in the zone.
Take any.
Um,
No.
Yeah, that's also a good
That'd be
point.
a good block.
Achilles won't take
I
any
will
from the, because the 1 still
attack with
happens.
Pat.
The interesting thing with this pin, though, if he holds it, is that even Helm keeps Achilles adjacent to
Yeah.
Golden Bat.
True. There's the Brothers in Arms once more. No action gain here, though.
And then I will.
our third brothers in arms, but also the first brothers.
Yep.
Another attack.
Is it another brothers in arms? Are we handshaking all day long? Yes, we are. We're just giving Bat the firmest handshake I've ever seen.
Which could get interesting now in terms of
I was like, why are you-
stacking the deck if there's not a lot of defenses for
Yeah.
Achilles coming up.
It's true.
But
What's this dude doing?
I feel like you may see him back off a little bit here. If you can control what he draws if he maneuvers next action.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way for us as the commentators to see what the cards are
Yeah.
without it all that.
And I will.
Oh, he's thinking about attacking.
I'll attack
Oh
with
my
Achilles.
goodness.
We're going for it.
Is it another Brothers in Arms? Do we have all three in a row?
Well done, sir.
Nope, just flash.
You can't move right through.
Correct.
Okay. Good call out. Good call out. All right. And your turn.
All right. We skirmish Pat, kill him, move into his spot, hit Achilles with the 7.
And just nobody has any-
Achilles loses the only card in hand. He maneuvers into a blue card, cannot attack us, and we're sitting pretty.
His Golden Bat is getting a little low in health. 11 health before Achilles is angry
Yeah,
with
it's,
the
it's a problem. Pat's also used none of his cards.
Yeah.
What is going on with that?
I feel like that's.
Turns
And
out
when
when
we
you
cancel,
play a
yeah.
single 4 3 times, that puts some pressure on Bat.
Love to have
Yeah.
those.
If that gains you actions.
Yes.
All right, here comes the packer right here.
Bat's only weakness, a firm
I'm gonna
handshake.
Oh, you son of a gun!
I know
you're
what
the
it is.
reason-
It's not a back card.
His bones cannot
you're the
handle it.
reason why I'm not seeing my pack cards. You messed up, man.
Like that test.
Um,
Got a test for weakness out of it. You know, that's not bad.
Oh, we might see another attack.
I'll attack you.
Which this is where Flash could be
You know
very
exactly what it
interesting.
is.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Achilles does have +2. But
Yeah, that's the problem is if he's still got a card in hand, he's
So you take it?
Yeah.
okay, test. He didn't know about that, so knew that it was probably a safer take. Ooh, and there's the flash.
Okay, so 1 damage.
looks like he does.
Oh wait. Now we'll use this. I can use this, right?
Sure. Since no inference has not changed, yeah, sure. Yeah. So no
Does use the +2 because yeah, he knew that it was a 3 coming through.
Yeah, might as well.
It's all good.
Plus now I guess you can get the same effect if you want
For sure, I can get you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
without ending up next to
Okay,
Achilles.
Grab in a switch of action or whatever.
Yeah, I guess you
This
stay
is
further
what
away
you-
from Pat this way.
Use the map.
Okay.
Mapping it up.
Let's attack Achilles.
You gotta assume the +2. Oh,
Oh, not if it's the helm.
Oh,
Oof.
okay.
Yay.
Oof.
Oh.
And this is actually incredible. This is ideal for Achilles because he doesn't lose any cards now. That doesn't happen often when Pat dies, but he loses no cards.
I had 2, and you only knew about
Yeah.
one.
And that's
I was just waiting.
well, he did get that 7 back to be fair, but that is one of the 7s
Here
gone.
we go.
I've tested, right?
Yeah, that is
Well,
tough. Now,
Achilles
double
is,
crunch.
Achilles is in a great spot now as long as
I
he doesn't just
maneuver.
top deck Pat cards, I guess.
Which double crunch I think should know at least one of the cards that Achilles is drawing.
Yes, yes.
And maneuver.
Is moving in closer, probably going to the +1.
Just a second, I'm not.
The Alpine
Yeah. I mean, I guess unless but at this point, unless you boost away, since you moved closer, I don't think you can get out of Alpine range.
Hell's Kitchen. Oh, it's got a lot. It's got a lot of them.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you'd have to boost, which is painful. I mean, I guess if you drew a Pat card, which would make sense if he was keeping those away with sight. So yeah, I think if you're already within range of Alpine, I don't see why you wouldn't just go on the +1 just to have more options. I guess this puts you a bit more center if Bat doesn't engage. He does only have 2 cards. Well, there's the Alpine.
There's the Alpine. Okay. Let's see what he gets back.
Yep, just the big 7.
5. Makes sense. Feels like if Skirmish had been there, that would be a great option here. I think it was really between the 5, the offensive 5, or the defensive 5.
I kind of like the offensive. I kind of like the offensive 5 because I feel like long term you're just gonna die.
Yeah.
So maybe you just need to try to kill Achilles before he kills you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're making it to exhaustion.
No.
10 health.
No.
4 6s and a spear throw left. I guess 3 6s left. Yeah. Now this gets interesting if Achilles plays a Hermes. Okay, he's not going for Jason. So if he had attacked and Achilles could Hermes into the +1. Now he'd only have 1 card damage.
But that's sometimes all he needs.
I guess you can draw one of it, so.
Yeah, I feel like Bat just doesn't have good cards to go in there. I think if he drew into a 7, he'd probably go for it. He does also probably have info on at least one of the cards in Achilles' hands, so depending on what that card is, that might also be informing his decision. It is a little bit unfortunate he can't go for an attack there, though. I think he would have liked to.
Because I think he knows, too, probably, that like you're not making it to end game. You have to kill Achilles here at some point.
Yeah. Boosting with heal.
Am I doing the exact same thing I just did? I'm doing the exact same thing again. No, heck no. We are slowing it down. We're gonna slow it down. We're gonna build up my hand first. We gotta stay focused, DoubleCrunch. I see what you're trying to do, and it's not gonna work. Not this time. No, sir. We almost did it. We just gotta.
Looks like opting not to go in.
You have no defenses, or do you? Oh my gosh! And I'm Achilles. You gotta go aggro with Achilles, don't you?
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, he probably knows that he needs
How many cards have you seen? Is the question. How many
3 or 4 swings and a spear throw to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think you know what else I'm gonna draw.
No reason to get caught similar to last game where you're taking 13 damage in 1 turn. No, but it's going in.
No, we just can't. We're gonna wait.
Maybe not.
We're gonna chill.
It's very indecisive Achilles here.
All right, your turn.
All right, not going in.
Makes sense. I mean, I feel like it helps eliminate some of the volatility of your card draw here. And if you can just guarantee, like, each of those 6s are going to be a couple damage unless one of them lines up perfectly into 5, and then the spear throw puts you in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Plus, then you can also, if you can get them low to like 1 or 2 health, then you get in the same spot as in the first game we saw where the Wileys are just lethal on defense. His back can't cancel offensively.
Yeah.
The downside here about being on the +2 is Achilles doesn't have to boost to reach you, so he gets to save his cards for later. And now it's like, is he attacking with a double?
And the question is, does he save the +2 for offense, or does he use it here defensively?
That's a good question, actually, because if he goes for like a +2 on a 5, that is actually a 7, it becomes a 9. And even if it gets fainted, that's still 5 damage.
Yeah.
My mouse just...
Like, it's a guaranteed 5 into no matter what Achilles blocks with if he does it on the 7.
Yeah.
Gonna use it on
Feels like
defense,
this could-
though. Oh, the offensive feint.
1 damage.
That's actually wild, because that stops the +2 as well. So he does get a damage over that. I love it, actually. You don't really want to be blocking with Feint against Bat at any point here, especially if he's going to be having his ability online. So yeah, really solid.
Which maybe the I-beams now become a little bit more prevalent, but
yeah, that's fair.
You need damage more so than discards right now if you're Bat.
Yeah.
15 health is a lot to see through.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'll take.
Okay.
The best value sight ever. 2 damage.
2 damage.
Doesn't get a look at the cards though. You know, looking at the cards and reordering them at this point could actually be pretty nice. It's gonna maneuver.
Yeah.
The annoying thing for Achilles, of course, is because Bats will move 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be so hard to win.
Achilles is going to be chasing him and boosting the whole time, and then Bat can attack him once, and then maneuver away, and again be outside of normal movement without a boost range. So Achilles is just going to kind of be chasing him around the map, which is fair, but it's going to be whether Achilles can get enough damage through Bat's defenses before Bat like punches over his and kind of attritions him out.
Mm-hmm. That is the first pack card we see, though. So there are 3 more he can use to boost.
Yep. The other problem is once Bat like gets like if Bat can mitigate the damage he's taking with his big blocks and then whittle Achilles down here and there, he can eventually do a turn where he double attacks Achilles, while Achilles is not getting the choice to double attack Bat until Bat does the first double attack. So Bat gets that choice before Achilles does, essentially. Okay, 3 damage here. That's a third of Bat's health left.
A lot of damage.
No, draw a card in your turn.
Achilles is also, though, to be fair, staying even on cards, presumably, while attacking here, as long as he's attacking with 6s. And Bat does get to attack and then maneuver, but he's not, like, going up on card advantage.
Yeah.
It's where I-beams could start to be useful, maybe, to do that a bit. We know Achilles has a heal, and if he ever catches that into an I-beams, it's pretty good. That's not the one that he wants to do, but honestly, so it's not that bad, because he takes 3, but that's the best value block he can get. A skirmish did not get used on defense, and yes, Bat gains in action, but to the point that Hubaris was making earlier, at this stage, Bat's low enough on cards where he might not actually want to keep attacking. I could see him maybe do 1 more attack and then maneuver, but depending on what he's got, it could still be risky. So heal here is not as bad as it would be if Bat had a bit more cards in hand.
Yeah. Because you just have to watch out that you don't get down to that 2 health threshold where you can just get spear throwed. Or even the 3 health threshold is pretty brutal because the spear throw and puts Wily as lethal on defense.
Yeah.
And so you need a skirmish or the 5 in hand in order to survive any of the remaining 6s.
To another heal. Oh my god.
Take 2, you get action.
Hey.
What is even going on right now?
This is wild. I love it. I love it
There goes
so
one of
much.
the defense.
I think you just have to keep smacking him at this point.
Boy.
Like, this
Now
is
an
honestly
I-beam
your
would be
opening.
I-beams will be very interesting here.
Yeah. I-beams... Oh, man. I-beams into, like... I mean, it could just be lethal if he's got, like, another 7 or a skirmish.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing about heal. If he did go for I-beams into the heals, Achilles would lose a card, but he'd draw 1. So he want to go down in total card advantage. Oh, man. Does Achilles have any more blocks?
Yeah, there's still 2 actions left for that.
Yeah, there are. They're giving us a show, that's for sure. Now, was Achilles blocking with it because it was all he had, or was he trying to catch stuff like eye beams?
Can I switch my attack?
I would say no.
Fair.
Because I've been like thinking about it at this point.
Now Achilles started the turn at 13 health. We did see him take 13 in one turn. Oh, there's 6.
Well,
That was not the one.
With one.
Well-
But the question is, if you go for it
I'll take it.
and he doesn't,
and he
has
doesn't
always
have it.
taken-
He
Oh my
doesn't have
God.
any. Wow.
Oh, that was the scariest thing in my life.
Holy cow. Yep.
Yeah,
Oof.
that was good. Well done, man.
We saw Achilles take 13 damage in a single turn in both games.
Yep.
I didn't think
Jeez.
Achilles heal. I knew the first one, but the second one is what I was like, oh boy.
Wow.
Now I really had to think.
I don't think I played a single pack card.
I'll turn up the players here.
That's really
I am
bad.
sorry about that. You deserve an apology from that, from like
Yeah.
Achilles and Pat himself. Pat needs to send you a letter to be like, dude, I'm sorry, I just didn't
Man.
show up.
Man,
He
good.
body blocked. I'll give him that though. At least you did great body blocking and using Pat as best you could.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
my gosh, that's brutal. That good game. Well done.
No,
That's,
good
that
game. You
sucks.
seriously gave me a huge run
That
from under the hand.
sucks. That's so annoying, but good game.
Hey,
You play-
hey,
yeah,
I
you-
feel like if anything though, we at least got to give the people good battles. We didn't
Yeah,
have.
no, you did a good job. You did a great job. Definitely. Oh, that hurts though. That's so sad.
What's your health
that's a-
end at? -1 technically, right? Because this doesn't hit the extra 2 because you're already dead, right?
Right. So -1, 6 -1.
Let me just put that in real quick for us. So
Oh boy,
I think you were position 1,
man.
6. Hey, you played great games, Captain. Don't beat yourself up, sir.
No, I know. That is actually why I'm more frustrated. I don't know. Maybe I should be less frustrated because it feels like I played really well. But
No, I don't think
Yeah.
you should be frustrated because you didn't make mistakes that you can be upset with. I think you played great games on
we'll
both.
find out. We'll find
I
out what
think
they
maybe,
say.
like you said, the only thing I think is maybe the Sinbad one you could have eased off just a little bit,
I know.
but that's
So
probably the only thing.
In this one, when I eased off, my next 2 draws were pat cards.
Really?
So it was a good choice because all I had were these 4s. So I guess you just gotta because you're you. It's like I just have to keep. But I'm running out of time. I don't have cards. I don't have cards to just sit there and then wait and let you get what you want. But like, do I? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no. And then let's see.
Yeah,
When I did my look, I saw was it like 2 of these and 1 of these, one of them. And so I was like, okay, I know he's got 2 feints coming up, so I know he can't. That's why I kept bringing the 5s back because I was like, I know he can't block big, and even if he does
Right.
block big and you draw a 4,
right.
I get an action. So I feel
I
like
know.
first strength was like huge for him.
I know. I was hoping to draw at least something with my 4s. I was just hoping that I really wanted your 1.
Mhm.
But oh my gosh.
Hey, good games, sir. Good games.
Yeah, good
games.
games. Good games. Those hurt. Those last 2 hurt. That Sinbad one was disappointing. This one too, man. There's like, I even got the freaking no.
Your draw was so bad. My draw the first game,
Yeah.
I got real bad. We got really like
Yeah, your
bad
first game
draw,
draw, dude. Like for real, like the draws. These 3 games were absolutely
right?
awful.
Like gold about the first game. Didn't see a single Alpine. I was
What's a-
like, that's
like,
15.
Where?
Didn't see any pack
Where?
cards. Craziest thing.
Where? In 2 freaking Achilles. No, but here's guess what? Guess what I didn't do? I think in both games,
What?
I didn't mulligan.
Ah.
Because I had 2 helms. 2
Mm.
or was it 2 helms or 1 helm? It was like, no, I think I had 2 helms. It's like, okay, well, I'm guaranteeing that Pat's gonna die. Like,
Yeah.
do I like? I think you got a mulligan for the freaking Pat attacks. That way you have something because you can at least boost with these for 4. But like, I don't need to boost because I never couldn't get to you. Like I could always get to you when I wanted to.
Yeah. That's
It
fair.
was like, oh, dude, I know that I can guarantee Pat's gonna die, and it was like so nice. He died, like Pat died. No freaking discards.
That's fair.
Oh
These are
man,
tougher
well,
for
good
me.
luck. I hope you go crush it.
Hey, I've never made it into the top 64, so I'm probably gonna get spanked around a bit. But you know,
Yeah,
hopefully
we can do some scrims. That was good, man.
Hey, I'm sorry to take you out of the Summer Legends, Captain.
Hey, I know it's all right. It's all right. Now I can do other things. I can do important
Rep
things.
the team league next season.
I can do more.
Put me on all the
more-
Sinbad games, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude, always. All right. Darkblade and Plaza, you guys there?
Yeah, that was a great set, guys.
Thank you.
Very entertaining games.
Yeah.
I gotta say, we've had the last two instances of Achilles Sinbad on stream have been absolutely wild. I am loving that matchup more and more the more I see it. There's been some crazy stuff happening with it. So yeah, both of these were or all three of these games really were really fun to watch and commentate for. So I'm glad we got to do it.
Cool.
thanks
Yeah,
for
those were
hosting
good.
it. I hope we
Yeah.
gave people a good show, and I hope.
Oh
we
yeah,
gave you a good stream.
100%. These games.
Oh
are
my
great.
gosh.
I will say that last event of like the 4-action golden bat turn and then just dumping my hand is got to be the most like firework finish we could have had to it.
Dude, my heart was going so fast. It was like okay, so how do I act like I have defense? But if I act like I have defense, then you're gonna think I act like I have defense. So I gotta act like I don't have defense, but also like not too hard. You know, I gotta like. So I was
Right.
like, okay, where do I put my mouse? Let's just rest the mouse right here. This feels like a good spot. That's not too telling. You know, like it was the whole thing, but it was like I'm just like my heart was going so fast. Like as soon as you attacked, I knew I was dead. If you threw that third attack, I knew for sure I was dead.
Yeah,
I knew
because if I see you not
wouldn't stop.
defend something, I have
Exactly.
to just attack
Exactly. You're
again.
golden bat, and you're hitting with the +2, so
Yeah.
it's going to happen. Dang it.
Yeah, no, I was saving those skirmishes because I was like, I wanted to block with it one time, and I was like, I think I need this for like my attack.
It
honestly.
feels so bad that I had to just like the right answer in there was just maneuver up and get a bigger hand as Angry Achilles, which just feels so bad.
I see, yeah.
I don't know, like that just feels bad. Like I'm like, but I think that's obviously right. That's the right answer. Like,
I mean, a lot of these were like super swing decisions. Like when I did this turn, I just had like seriously like the angel like devil thing on my shoulders, and one was like, I don't know, man, like maybe you can't do it. And the other one was just like, do it. And I was like,
do it.
we're going for it. I just
See, you
needed
were the evil dark side over here. Freaking Emperor Palpatine. I'm Yoda getting smoked.
I had to bring
Oh,
up
no,
Inner
that's
Palpatine, you know?
No, I guess I would be. What would I be? I would be like. I'd be Jar Jar. Okay, let's be honest. That was despicable. No, that wasn't despicable.
No, you did great games. They're great games.
Yeah. Okay. So Darkblade and Plaza.
Mhm.
Agree or disagree? I mean, obviously in hindsight, right? But like, when I was doing it, were you guys saying like, dude, he's just gotta go in. He's just gotta go in. Or were you saying, oh, because you can't see my hand, so it's obviously different. But
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with backing off the turn that you were initially going to boost in and hit and doing that double maneuver instead. And like you said, you drew into some pat stuff, so it would have been pretty bad if you had gone in, because if you were hoping
I
to
would've
draw
died.
more off of the attacks
yeah.
to get like more blocks and stuff, it would have been really bad for you.
Yeah.
I guess going in with the double heal is always going to be a risk against Bat. Obviously, if he has the big stuff like skirmish and super strength, you're going to get just, well, what happened? You're going to get obliterated. But if he has
Exactly.
stuff like I-beams to try and like even up totals, like you're still going to lose a card, but
right.
you're going to draw one back, so you're not going down. And honestly,
Exactly.
because the I-beams discard will happen before you draw, you would just lose like the pat card or the spear throw, and spear throw would kind of suck because it could help you get lethal, but it's not like a defense, and maybe you draw into a defense.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like, or if he tries to go for like the punch, like you can stop it and only take one from the after combat, then you draw and actually gain cards on him. So it's definitely risky to go in when heal's your only option, but I definitely think it's more defensible going in there than the turn prior. Because I think if you'd gone in the turn prior, you probably just would have lost that turn earlier or what
Correct.
have you.
I would have. I only had the 1/4. The same thing would have happened, but it would have just been worse. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and that's right. I was thinking that the two, because look at it. I mean, look at the odds, right? We got 2 1s, we got 2 2s, and so I was hoping that it would be those low guys coming.
Yeah, I guess it's because was the when did the feint line up into the site? Was that the turn before or the turn after, or was that same turn?
It might have been.
Because that was a rough interaction.
The turn before,
too.
the turn before was the feint turn. I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew he had the feints because I kept putting I kept getting feints on my sites, so I just kept putting them back in.
Yep, makes sense.
So I knew that was his only defenses for a while, which was honestly why I kept bringing back the 5s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
I do feel like though in that first game, I probably should have backed off, and I probably could have beaten Tesla if I would have backed off a little bit earlier. I think I took too much damage too early on the Golden Bat versus Tesla game.
Yeah, that one came down super close.
Right,
like it was like one card more for Bat or one more health for Bat, and I think Bat would have actually been able to get it there at the end.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I was running out of damage quickly.
Yeah, so I was hoping
That one's always a really close and fun matchup. It's an inbox one too, and it's one of the best inbox ones in recent memory for me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and it's 2 fighters that are top of A tier, if not in S tier. You know,
Yeah.
that's
peeking
really
them.
good. Well, bye everybody.
Yep, good games, guys. Congrats,
Good
DoubleCrunch, for
games.
making it through.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
good
you. I will see how quickly I get taken out here. Once I...
Hey, that's not. We don't
But
want
you got to go all the way now. You got to go all the way.
Yes, you do, Double. Come on, man.
All right,
Just play like
bring
that
great
again.
names for the average Joes.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah, do it.
Exactly.
Do it. Hey, we didn't get relegated. Heck yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys for hosting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Captain, for playing. Thanks, M Plaza and Darkblade
Yeah.
for commentating. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the stream and laugh at all my mistakes. You idiots! I don't know what you were thinking there.
Says the winner.
Hey, you can always find stuff in there.
I guess
sure.
I'll watch the stream and cry about all my
I go
mistakes.
back. I try to go back and find stuff like that in my own games, even if I end up winning, just because, it's always helpful to kind of see.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got like other people commentating, which is why whenever I play games, they're commentated by others, especially others who are really knowledgeable. It's nice to go back and be like, oh yeah, maybe I know what I was thinking, but maybe what they're saying makes more sense, etc.
Right.
And obviously it's also interesting because commentators usually don't have hand knowledge, so it's like they can kind of be saying, oh well, if they did this or did this, but maybe you just didn't have the option, but also maybe it points out stuff that you weren't thinking of. So yeah, it's always a nice kind of thing to cross-reference and always be getting better with stuff, because this game
weren't
is
you guys
deep.
Weren't you guys so happy that I was playing?
The handshakes were so good.
Yeah.
That was great. I couldn't. I had to respect it too.
The firm
When you didn't
handshakes.
grab back the spear throw, I was like, respect, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just like, oh, this is so fun. I get to throw 5 of these. This is incredible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No,
I
I
could've
mean
thrown
that
even
kind of
more.
stuff gives Bat a lot of troubles a lot of time too, because he definitely does not like characters that can action gain against him when he doesn't have the best, especially since he didn't have a way to really get away. So he was just taking all the handshakes to the face.
Yeah.
And he was blocking, but he was taking damage over it. And that was like he had taken a lot of damage before Pat even went down. So we were thinking that he was in a pretty scary position.
It felt so good, and just immediately as soon as, and I didn't even lose cars, guys. I didn't lose.
Yeah, that we talked about that too. It's like that doesn't happen often, but Achilles doesn't discard anything here from Pat's death.
I was
like
so
ideal
upset about that.
because Pat ate a 7, or at least he had a 5 because it wasn't boosted, but it was enough to kill him, and it was the helm was the last card in hand, so it was like the perfect sequence there.
I think so. The mistakes that I absolutely think are crucial, and I wish I could redo. I should have mulliganed. I think that based on the last 2 games, I will keep. If I have these 2 cards, I need to have these cards. Give me one of them, whatever, right? If I don't have it, I'm gonna mulligan every single time from now on, forever. Like I've learned my lesson. And then 2, I will. This card against certain fighters, Golden Bat's one of them, right? Is like I need to make sure I've got some other stuff. I gotta have some more things.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
Like
just
the first one,
it's awful.
so the first one happened, and it's interesting because while it does suck to give the opponent a draw or a action, it's still a 4 block. So like if they can't capitalize on the action gain, then it's still like it sucks, right, to give them an action, but it's still your best value block other than skirmish. So if Bat didn't have like all of his high value stuff there, you know, giving him an action off of one of the heals probably wouldn't have been a big deal. If like the second heal blocks full and he doesn't get the action and you draw a card, like now you're looking like, you know, the one heal was fine to block a 7 because you took the least damage you could have from the attack and he wasn't able to like punish you for it. But when he has all of the big numbers to both your heals, that's where it starts to be a problem. And same kind of thing with Rex, I think, is actually worse. I think a lot of the times, unless you're literally going to die.
Oh my gosh, you can't play it with Rex.
You really can't just play it against Rex. Like straight up not playing it against Rex is usually the better option than playing it.
He gains 2 actions
off of the dinos. Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. Yeah. Yeah, the 5, the commanding does it, and then the ignore would do it.
Yep.
And the
Dinos does it, Thrash does it. Yeah,
Lunge is the only one that doesn't do it.
Yeah, Lunge is the only one that doesn't. Yeah, it's fine in the Lunge. Everything else, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, you just can't do it. You really can't. It's just. Oh man! All right. Thanks, guys.
If Shakespeare's got 6 syllables left too, that might be.
Yeah, true. Dear Lord.
Oh my. That would be.
Get 3 actions. Let's see what happens now.
That would be something.
Oh boy.
Well, hopefully we can see that in the tourney game.
That would be.
I was sad I didn't bring out any slings and arrows. I should have, but you know, you don't feel confident enough with them yet.
Yeah, Double, you should have. You really should have, because then it could have.
Like, yeah, you really should have, man.
Yeah, we'd have to play freaking Golden Bat.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, man. Well, good games, and thanks, guys, for hosting. And I will catch you guys later.
Yep. Have a good rest of your night, guys.
I'll go.
See you guys. Thank you.
All right, I'll go cry. Bye.
Later. All right, and thanks Plaza for joining me. This was a really good one.
Yeah, got to see 1 really grindy game and then 2 just games with wild health swings.
Yo.
All interesting in different kinds of ways.
Yeah, for sure. Super good set.